resided there. 5 motor vehicles or motorcycles were recovered during the execution of operations by the anti-gang unit. For the same period, the gang unit is also deployed at specific problematic schools to make their presence known there. And there's a number of schools in the Reiger Park, is the Oosrand Secondary and the Reiger Park Secondary School that we visited. In Eldorado Park, the Lancia, Willow Crescent, and Silver Oak Secondary School in Boysons. It was John Adamson High School, Sophia Town Secondary School, and also the Riverley Secondary School in the Langlaagte area. The members of the AGU further continue to monitor funerals and aftercare to avoid mass shootings. Honourable Chair, we move to the reactive approach in terms of the detective environment for this aspect. It will see for the period that we mentioned, total of 18 case dockets have been received, of which 11 have been referred to court, and 7 of the dockets are still under investigation. In total for murder, there were 7, attempted murder 5, possession of firearms and ammunition there were 6, bringing that total to 18. And there's also then a breakdown provided in terms of which has court dockets and which is currently under investigation. Further, in terms of the case management by the stations for the first quarter of this year, in terms of the priority stations listed there to the left, in total there were 4 case dockets that went to court. 3 is still under investigation in terms of murder. Attempted murder, one case went to court. At Brixton, 4 is still under investigation. 2 at Sophia Town, 1 at Eldos, 1 at Boysons. Possession of firearm, 6 cases have gone to court, and then in total that is the 18 cases that went to court. As we mentioned previously, arrests that were also made. There's different arrests for murder, attempted murder, as well as possession of firearms and ammunition. Broken down for the different stations, when you look at the total at the bottom. In all of these stations, for those crimes, there were 14 arrests, 11 cases within the first quarter of this financial year. We also had a request previously just to highlight some successes achieved, and then within this period, on the 15th of May, in the Johannesburg court, an accused by the name of Delvin Davis was found guilty on the charge of murder and attempted murder, and he was sentenced on charge 1 to 15 years imprisonment, and on charge 2, attempted murder, he was sentenced to 5 years imprisonment. The last pillar of the 5-pillar approach is in terms of communication and liaison, which is also there to create awareness. For this period under review, a total of 78 media releases, as well as press statements in respect of gang, drug and other related successes were placed in the media, either print, social media. So we will move on to the next item that has been required to provide feedback in terms of human trafficking, kidnapping. First of all, this is from the DPCI or the Hawks. As reported previously to the committee, the following measures and interventions remain in place and are actively pursued by the Directorate of Priority Crime Investigation in response to the phenomenon of human trafficking in line with national and international obligations. The first of all is the national task team to participation of the DPCI, intelligence-led investigations, which include ongoing surveillance and intelligence operations to dismantle trafficking networks. There's a dedicated trafficking units specialized within the DPCI to handle trafficking cases in alignment with the Prevention of Combating of Trafficking in Persons Act. They have a victim-centered approach with partnerships with the social development as well as NGOs, border and port control operations with Home Affairs, the Border Management Authority, as well as Interpol to monitor and intercept trafficking attempts at key entry and exit points, the public awareness and prevention campaigns, and lastly then interagency and international cooperation with strategic alliances with local departments and international agents for intelligence sharing, repatriation, as well as enforcement operations. For the first quarter, still in terms of the DPCI, they had 38 cases and inquiries that were carried over from the previous quarter, which is under investigation in terms of human trafficking. 1 case docket was received for this period, 2 inquiry was finalized, and 2 awareness campaigns was conducted. And just some feedback on a case that moved from 12 November 2020 night at the factory in Village Deep, where 87 employees, included 33 minors between the age of 15 and 17, were found working under inhumane conditions, trapped behind steel gates with no ventilation. that operation were conducted. Several Taiwanese and Chinese nationals were arrested, and 7 of these Chinese national accused were sentenced to 20 years imprisonment each on the 10th of September 2025 on that specific case. In terms of the kidnapping, which is dealt with the organized crime component within the provincial office, we indicate that the occurrence of kidnapping remains an area of concern and a priority within the Gauteng province. The team, there's a specific task team dealing with this from organized crime. They continue to engage relevant bank as well as SABRIC to trace the withdrawals in instances where a victim's banking app has been used by the suspects to withdraw or to transact on money. There's continued interventions, also the forum that is established that we also reported on previously with other foreign nationals, the functioning of a specialized task team to deal with the investigation of this crime, the increased and focused collaboration with the Director of Public Prosecution as well as the SPP regarding the kidnappings, and also then collaboration with security companies to assist with the combating of kidnappings. For the period under review, there were 6 cases that were dealt with specifically by this team within organized crime, and they are reflected there. We can see that in all of the incidents, but 1, the victims have been recovered, and we also see there in the Lenasia case, there was 3 arrests that have been made. It's also reflected in terms of the nationality, the ransom amount that was required, if it was paid, and as I indicated then, those suspects that was arrested. So at the previous sitting of the committee, we were also required to report back on specific cases of vigilantism, just by way of reminder that the types of vigilantism that is there is community-based, where the neighborhood watch groups or mobs seeking to protect their community. We have political types of vigilantism, targeting individuals or groups based on their ideology or affiliation, and then also economic vigilantism, punishing those accused of economic crimes like theft or corruption. When we look at the period under review, there was a total of 49 cases with 33 arrests in terms of vigilantism, and you can see those reflected. Ekurhuleni, majority of the stations have 1 case, Davidton had 2 cases, Reiger Park 2, Tembisa 2, and the rest of all had 1 in terms of Sedibeng. We see Orange Farms at 13, and another Orange Farms 5, the one was for assault GBH, the other one was for murder. Vanderbijl Park had 2 for assault GBH and 1 for murder. And then in Tshwane, in Garankuwa, there were 3 cases for murder, and Tewate there was 2, they're bringing the number of cases to 49. You also see then the arrests were made in Orange Farms. In the number of 13 cases, there were 18 arrests made, bringing the total to 33 arrests made in the cases mentioned. Second to last, in terms of second-hand goods dealers and scrapyards, just to give indication that the Second-Hand Goods Act of 6 of 2009 aims to regulate dealing in second-hand goods and pawnbrokers in order to combat the trade in stolen goods and to promote ethical standards and second-hand goods trade. We're also referring to the implementation of the Criminal Matters Amendment Act, and also ensure that scrap metal dealers, general dealers, recyclers, and communication dealers are policed. There was a second-hand goods forum has already been established, and they're responsible for a number of functions, mainly by ensuring compliance in terms of the Second-Hand Goods Act by all the registered second-hand goods dealers, also ensuring compliance of those that is unregistered, identifying and dismantling the market for stolen goods, and combating cable theft and other essential infrastructure-related crime in terms of the Criminal Matters Amendment Act, as I mentioned earlier. The next slide also just in terms of activities that were conducted in the first quarter in respect of second-hand goods, dealers and scrapyards. See in the second part of the table there, there's a total inspections were conducted for the quarter was 21,503, and the detailed breakdown is provided in terms of in which area these inspections were conducted. You'll see in general dealers 2,900, and then the majority of inspections was also done at scrap metal dealers with over 10,190 inspections that were done. There were 133 cases opened at unregistered second-hand good dealers, closed down dealers, and unregistered was 85. There was also a number of warnings and J534s issued in this regard. Arrests were made In terms of the second-hand goods, 315, dealing in goods at unregistered premises with 287, and the possession of or the receiving of possible stolen goods with 28 arrests. There's also a number of confiscations, which I will not go through, in terms of batteries, copper pipes, diesel, petrol, and the like, which is reflected. There was a large number of diesel that has been recovered during these operations. From a reactive side, in terms of our case management, there was a number of 627 cases registered this period. Of that 627, arrests were made in 606 cases. 164 is still under investigation, and cases brought forward from previous periods is 1,275. At the last meeting, Chairperson, that we had on the 5th of June, also had a request to report back in terms of safety at health facilities and schools. First, we'll look at the schools, that the Integrated Crime and Violence Prevention Strategy makes provision to address crime and violence through early intervention programs, school safety programs, as well as awareness campaigns conducted. And there's a number of projects and campaigns that is conducted by the SAPS, which is mentioned there, namely the Adopt a Cop programs, junior commissioners programs, dialogues between the schools, whereby learners are encouraged to share problem solutions with peers relating to prevailing issues such as bullying, drugs, etc. A school search is done, and there's also engagement of parents during parents' evening. So, as per the direction of the division, Visible Policing at Head Office, 26 schools were identified specifically for intervention programs in Gauteng. During the first quarter, the schools that were done mostly in May were mentioned there. It's the Seasway Secondary School, Easterrand School of Arts, Oosrand Secondary, Carlfontein Secondary, and then at Altmont Tech School, there was 3 searches that were done there. In terms of health facilities, recent law enforcement activities have focused on addressing serious security concerns, particularly infant abductions and violent incidents. In 2025, Gauteng, we swiftly responded to 2 infant abductions at public health facilities. One was at the Alexandra Community Health Centre in May, and another at Winnie Mandela Clinic in June. Both babies were safely recovered due to the effective collaboration between SAPS, the health facility staff, as well as CCTV surveillance. When we look at case management, school safety, and the health facilities for the first quarter, just the number of breakings that were reported, we'll see for that period that burglaries at schools, 190 cases were reported. Attempted burglaries at schools, 3. Burglaries at clinics were 15, and burglaries at hospitals were 2. Of those, 227 cases were sent to court, and then also there's still 82 that is under investigation and 10 that is pending in court. Following measures are implemented from a detective service perspective to ensure successful investigation of reported cases, where cases are monitored at station level by the detective commanders. All crime scenes are visited also by our detective members. The criminal record and crime scene management are attending to crime scenes to gather evidence in terms of existing directives. Arrested suspects are profiled to determine linkages. All exhibits found at the scenes are dealt with in terms of our prescribed directives. And lastly, all statements are obtained from witnesses immediately at the crime scene. And with that, Honourable Chairperson and members, submit in terms of the first presentation. Thank you.
Thank you for the comprehensive report on the feedback on the areas that we feel as a committee we should get constant and consistent reports and feedback on the work that has been done, because these are the areas that require proper policing and also of interest to the public of Gauteng. I made an omission that I didn't acknowledge the presence of the Dr. Maposa from Gun Free South Africa, who will be continuously working with, collaborating with as a committee, that's to achieve, raise awareness and to achieve a Gauteng that is gun free, because most of the crimes that we have observed and seen in our province and in our country are actually committed through guns. So as a committee, we also felt that it's important that we continue to raise the awareness in the coming meetings, we will be receiving reports on the firearm registry, and particularly the ones that are actually even recovered. So it's an important collaboration that we are entering in with the Gun Free South Africa. Welcome, Doctor. We are going to take all the reports, the presentations, then we'll have an engagement on them. I'm hoping that members are taking notes for the engagement. Over to you, Brigadier.
Thank you, the Honourable Premier, Honourable Chairperson, Honourable Members. The Provincial Commissioner of Gauteng, Lieutenant General Mtombeni, all senior law enforcement officers, all senior government officials. I am Brigadier Joseph from the Provincial Head of Visible Policing in Gauteng, and my presentation. Okay, there it is now. Thank you. As the Honourable Chairperson said, the following will be covered in the presentation. It'll be the purpose, the report on firearm-related cases, number of firearms recovered used in the commission of crimes, firearms destroyed for this period, and we've taken the last semester. Details on the next scheduled destruction process, intervention measures to improve firearm control, and then our safer festive season operations and our plan. And then we will also discuss some points on cybercrime. A report on firearm-related cases for the period of April to October 2025, a number of firearms recovered that were found and have been used in the commission of offences, the number of firearms destroyed, the intervention measures currently in place to strengthen firearm control, the festive season safety plans, outlining strategies to enhance public safety, crime prevention and law enforcement visibility during the upcoming festive period, and then, as we said, the strategies and measures implemented to address cybercrime. We'll start off with the firearms, Honourable Chairperson. The report on firearm-related cases from April to October 2025. These are cases that were opened in the specific categories that are below, where a firearm was used in the commission of an offence. The total dockets received for that period of time was 27,059. The dockets that were opened that are in court and are court going is 15,529, and the dockets still under investigation is 11,530. The breakdown of the dockets are as follows. The court dockets for murder, there are 85. In court, attempted murder, 240. Possession of firearms and ammunition, there's 14,673. Robbery aggravating in court, 531. That gives us a total of 15,529. And under investigation still, for murder, there's 717 under investigation. Attempted murder, 1,045. Possession of firearms and ammunition, 54. Robbery aggravating, 9,714. And that gives us a total of 11,530. And the totals as depicted below, 2. Firearms recovered used in the commission of crime from April to October 2025. In April, 341 firearms were recovered that were involved in the commission of an offence. In May, 433. In June, 362. In July, 403. In August, 356. The highest being in September of 561. And in October, 307. It gave us a total of 2,763. The destruction of these firearms. For the period under review, the following firearms were destructed as well as identified for future destruction in Gauteng, together with a lot from the previous quarters, and then the first 2 months of this semester for April and May. That went for destruction on the 9th of July 2025. In April, we sent 1,390. In May, 1,474. Giving us a total of 2,864 that were all destroyed on the 9th of July 2025 during the national destruction. Now, the ones on hand that are ready for destruction and destined for destruction at the supply chain head office. For June, we have 286 that have been identified that are ready to move. In July, we had 934. In August, 676. In September, 587. And in October, 1,731. Which gives us a total of 4,214 for this period that are all packed. Destruction orders are issued and we are waiting to send them on. But by following the process, All these firearms received from the stations in the provincial SAB 13 store for destruction will be handed over to the National Supply Chain Office at an identified date in December 2025, where we then move them in mass and place them there, and they are accepted by National Supply Chain. A list of all firearms marked for destruction will be published in the Government Gazette, providing any owner a period of 28 days from the publication to object. If no objections are received, the listed firearms will be destroyed on a date to be made known in January next year. Intervention measures to improve firearm control. First of all, the implementation of Section 102 of the Firearm Controls Act 2000, Act 60 of 2000, to review the fitness of an individual to possess a firearm after contravention of the Firearm Controls Act implementation of Section 103. This is where court has found a person unfit in terms of the Firearms Control Act, and to possess a firearm is implemented, and that all firearms are removed from the accused or that individual person or institution. Background checks of all applicants renewing or applying for firearm licenses and competency certificates. Safe inspections where an applicant has applied for a firearm license. Regular compliance visits to firearm dealers and security companies. Regular inspections at all semi-official institutions that have control over firearms. Regular awareness campaigns promoting responsible firearm use and safekeeping of all firearms. Promoting the establishment of firearm-free zones. Honourable Chairperson, if you allow us, the Safer Festive Season Plan will be the next point. We can see there that it runs from 2025-10/01 until 2026-01/31. And it was launched at Tsakani Stadium on the 17th of October 2025 for Gauteng, and various of the dignitaries that are here today also attended that specific State of Readiness Festive Season launch. During the festive holidays, the SAPS rolls out the Safer Festive Season 2025-2026 operations, which is a nationwide crime prevention strategy aligned with Outcome 3 of the Delivery Agreement to ensure the safety and security of all citizens, led by the Justice, Crime Prevention and Security Cluster. The initiative is built on high-density, intelligence-driven and highly visible policing, supported by both proactive and reactive measures. The operations unfold across 5 coordinated phases and brings together multi-disciplines to prevent and combat a broad range of crimes. A key focus is the stabilization of crime hotspots, informed by intelligence from national and provincial intelligence committees, which analyze crime patterns and guide targeted interventions. Recognizing the unique crime trends of the festive period, such as increased alcohol and drug abuse, violent crime, and organized criminal activity, SAPS intensifies enforcement and community safety efforts to strategy priorities, protecting the well-being of the safety of the citizens, safeguarding South African territorial integrity, combating the illicit economy, and upholding the authority of the state by fostering cohesion, shared values, and lawful conduct. Overall, the Safer Festive Season operations aim to create a secure environment for all residents and visitors during the period heightened of social activity. There are 10 focus areas which take place from the 1st of October until the end of this operational plan. And these focus areas are as follows: gender-based violence and femicide, combating of aggravated robberies, which is trio crimes, enhancing border security, and this enhancing border security, searching for stolen property, crossing the borders, as well as to curb drug and human trafficking and tracing of wanted suspects. Focus area 4 is the illicit economy and serious organized crime, which is disruption of illicit drug trafficking networks, enforcement against illegal mining operations, and associated criminal syndicates. Focus area number 5 is firearms, liquor, and second-hand goods, and this will be the enforcement and compliance inspections of all of that within that environment. Focus area number 6 is bylaw, urban decay, and hijacked buildings. Enforcement of municipal bylaws to address hijacked and unsafe buildings. Focus area number 7 is the road safety and traffic law enforcement. Enforcement operations targeting driving under the influence, speeding, and unroadworthy vehicles. Focus area number 8 is event security, including the SASRIA and the G20. As we know, the G20 concluded on Sunday in the Gauteng province, which was very successful, but it was during this period. Comprehensive planning and operational deployment for the G20 Leaders Summit and ministerial working groups meetings, which took place in November 2025. Focus area number 9 is tourism, safety, and protection of economic hubs. visible policing, tourist attractions, transport hubs, shopping centres and entertainment areas. And then focus area number 10 is extortion and kidnapping related crimes. Intelligence-led operations to detect, disrupt and dismantle extortion and syndicates targeting businesses, construction projects and informal traders. The 2025-2026 festive season coincides with a range of significant national events, campaigns, religious observances, and periods of heightened socio-economic activity that will directly influence the operational landscape. These events include National Transport Month, which was concluded from the 1st till the 31st of October, the National Senior Certificate NSC examinations, which are taking place as we speak and will finish at the end of the month. The G20 Leaders Summit, as I said, which ran during this month and concluded on Sunday and was successful. The 16 Days of Activism, which was launched in Gauteng on the 25th at Orlando Communal Hall with over 2,000 delegates and participants at that, and there are various programs that are also taking place in that, and that runs up until 10 December 2025. The Day of Reconciliation, which is the 16th of December 2025, traditionally marked by large public gatherings and socio-political events. This day will require heightened public order policing and crowd control measures. School closure and reopening period from the 12th of December, and they will reopen on the 15th of January. This period will see an increase in domestic travel and youth presence in public spaces, necessitating targeted crime prevention and child safety initiatives. Christmas and New Year period, the 24th of December until the 2nd of January, historically associated with peak festive movement, retail activity and high volumes of alcohol-related incidents, road traffic accidents and interpersonal violence. Operational readiness during this period is critical in managing these risks. Religious observances during December and January 2026. The period includes large-scale church services, night vigils, spiritual gatherings and cross-border pilgrimages, major events such as Christmas Day, 25th of December, the Day of Goodwill, which is the 26th of December, and New Year's Eve watch night services on the 31st of December will require the management of large congregations, traffic flow, and enhanced law enforcement visibility at places of worship and public spaces. Mass migration of foreign nationals. The migration normally takes place between the 15th of December 2025 until the 2nd of January 2026. The annual cross-border movement of foreign nationals, particularly from Lesotho, Eswatini, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, will result in a significant increase in border post activity and cross-border transport. This will require heightened law enforcement visibility along major travel corridors with a return migration beginning on the 2nd of January 2026. The convergence of these events demands synchronized intelligence-led and high visible law enforcement operations across all sectors. Key threats identified in this context include ensuring the well-being and safety of the South Africans, preserving the territorial integrity of the state to maintain South Africa's standing within the regional and international partnerships, curbing the illicit economy to create a stable economic environment, maintaining the authority of the state by promoting social cohesion, shared values, peaceful coexistence, and political stability within a constitutional and lawful framework. In summary, the coordinated efforts required to address these challenges are critical to safeguarding the safety and security of all citizens and maintaining the effective functioning of the state during the period of heightened socio-political and economic activity. We will then move to cybercrime. Cybercrime in South Africa is governed by the Cybercrimes Act 19 of 2020, which came into effect on the 1st of December 2021. The Act defines and regulates various forms of cybercrime, including cyber fraud, cyber extortion, phishing and online scams, identity theft, unauthorized access, data breaches, malware and ransom attacks, and cyber malicious communication. The investigation into cybercrime is inter alia dealt with as follows. Cases are reported at police stations by the public and investigated by the local detectives dependent on the mandate. Guidance is provided to investigating officers who are investigating cases at local level. External role players, example scenario, forensic and risk diversion, are utilized to assist in the investigation and identification of digital footprints for the evidence. Internal role players are used to assist with investigation, forensic downloading, imaging and analyzing of computer devices, example, crime intelligence and cybercrime head office. Social media platforms, for example, Facebook, TikTok, WhatsApp, Instagram, and others are subpoenaed to obtain information when needed. Detectives attached to the Commercial Crime Investigation Unit are attending the Open Source Intelligence course, which is the OSINT, and the Cybercrime courses to assist them in the investigation. In-service training is provided to detectives during interventions at police stations. Workshops are provided by external stakeholders, example, SABRIC, FNB, FIC, and the South African Reserve Bank. Public awareness is provided by external stakeholders, example, SABRIC, and the banks which promote education among citizens and organizations. Partnerships that have been formed with the following stakeholders in addressing cybercrime: the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, which is the CSIR, SABRIC, Cybercrime Work Group with Interpol and other international law enforcement agency, Financial Intelligence Center, FIC, South African Reserve Bank, and cellular phone and internet service providers. Due to the nature of the evolvement of technology addressing cybercrime needs specialized intervention, further measures to address cybercrime include the following: investigation. Serious cases of cybercrime is investigated by the Commercial Crime Investigation Unit under the command of a brigadier. A specific protocol in the form of a national instruction was developed and implemented to deal with the new cybercrime search, seizure, and access warrants in terms of the Cybercrime Act. Incident response: establish a clear incident response protocol to manage and mitigate cybercrimes effectively. Under law enforcement, provide law enforcement agencies with the necessary tools and knowledge to handle cybercrimes efficiently. And for collaboration, foster collaboration between government, the private sector, and civil society to address cybersecurity challenges. Successes achieved and not limited to, these are specific examples. Successes achieved in the area of cybercrime during the first quarter 2025 and 2026 include the following. On a Garsfontein case of 2023, the accused, his name is there, was sentenced to 5 years imprisonment, wholly suspended for 5 years. The accused compromised the complainant's email, and a new bank account was given to make payments. It was later established that the email did not come from the legitimate client. Hence, the funds were transferred to the accused's account. After investigation, the accused was arrested and convicted for contravention of Section 6 of the Organised Crime Act, Section 121 of 1998. In a Crystal Park case stemming from 2024, 2 accused, namely Yassim Sadiq and Rodney Rabuya, advertised a truck on Facebook Marketplace. They then requested the victim to pay a deposit, only to find out that there is no truck at all. The accused were arrested and also convicted to 6 years imprisonment, suspended for 5 years for contravening Section 6 of the Prevention of the Organised Crime Act, Section 121 of 1998. And with that, Honourable Chairperson, I submit.
Thank you. Maybe the last presentation on this will be from the Department of Community Safety.
Thank you very much, Chair, Honourable Premier, Honourable Members, and Senior Officers. This is a presentation for the Gauteng Traffic Police Integrated Festive Season Plan. Now, this plan aimed at reducing the road traffic accident through coordinated approach of all stakeholders to ensure visible policing, spread road safety awareness through campaigns, ensure an integrated and coordinated response to road traffic challenges. These are the pieces of legislation that we'll be relying on in implementing these operations. Now, as it has already been mentioned, that The province has 1.16 human population, and we also saying that Gauteng is an economic hub of the republic. This vibrant economy in the province has attracted freight transport industry from both local and international markets. Apart from the above explanation, public transport contributes a large percentage of vehicles traveling from one destination to another. Many roads will be congested during this period with traffic volumes and more distressingly public transport vehicles which comprise of buses, minibuses, which are often used as means of public transport. The statistics show also that public transport vehicles contribute a large percentage of fatal accidents. Some of these accidents can be attributed to alcohol abuse, excessive speeding, reckless and negligent driving, and roadworthy vehicles, incapable and unfit drivers. Therefore, the idea to promote the use of public transport, but at the same time to give prominence to road safety usage. Accidents account for many injuries and death in this country, which has a huge economic cost on the country resources. Many traffic collision studies have also confirmed that road accident is normally preceded by the violation of traffic rules. As a result of this, both urban and night categories show extreme high offense rate, which ranges from jaywalking, crossing of freeways, and drunken pedestrians remain a huge challenge. This indicates that pedestrians are completely disregarding road traffic laws. As a result of this, we think visibility should be a top priority in for pedestrian and congested sensitive areas, as this will influence safe behavior in the province. Now, during this season, the focus is on reducing injuries and fatalities on road through implementation of festive season high fatality safe road usage and behavior by all road users. We then categorize different activities. For the month of November, there will be the close of the tertiary institutions. It will also be categorized by year-end functions that will lead to the increase in traveling during weekends and abuse of alcohol across all sectors of society. There will also be quite a lot of parties that will be taking place, picnic spots, and the 16 days of activism will also be a focus in this time. And they will also focus on road rage, safety belts for children, and the responsible usage of the road by pedestrians. The next period will be the December period, which will be the continuation of the year-end functions, which will lead to a sharp increase in drunk driving cases and excessive speeding. This will be the school closure period and an increase in traffic leading to holiday destinations, especially in the coastal areas. All major roads in Gauteng will experience mass exodus of holiday makers, and there will be a decrease in vehicular traffic in the province during this time, which will contribute to excessive speeding. Then there will be the close of factories, and there will be quite a lot of drug and illegal drug racing. There will be substantial decrease in traffic, grid and congestion in Gauteng. However, there is an increase in vehicles from other countries and provinces. There will also be an increase in illegal pedestrian movement in freeways, including drunk driving and walking offenses, overloading trailers in particular, the Operation Malaysia to different countries and provinces, and increase in traveling at night for social activities. Then the last period will be the January period, will be the back to school campaign, where we'll see most of the public transport vehicles becoming active. Now, these are the tactical options. We'll be concentrating on drunken driving, crime prevention related offenses, driver, vehicle and fitness, the roadblocks, high visibility of traffic control, weighing of vehicles at Weybridge, as I've already mentioned, the Operation Malaysias, the public transport, and the speed operation, including road safety, education, particularly in the garages where people take breaks when traveling long distances. Now, these are the law enforcement that will be participating in the plan. And you can see that there are different stakeholders, both metros and local authorities. And these are the resources that will be used, that will include blood kits for drunken driving operations and breathalyzers that will be used. This is the commanding structure of all commanders in different corridors that will be responsible for the operations. And these are the road safety promotion directors that will also be doing road safety education throughout the province. And these are other stakeholders from different institutions that will be assisting. And these are basically the instruction to all officers and members in terms of how will the operations be conducted, including financial implication and communication, including different parades that will be held throughout this time. This is the submission that we are making, Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was a marathon of presentations, but quite valuable and important for this meeting objective. Any comments from your side, Premier, HOD? Fine, okay. Members, it's an opportunity now to ask questions and make comments on what has been presented. I'll presume that all of you would want to speak. We'll start with Member San, Member Mulder, Kani, Member. So let's, yeah.
Thank you, Chairperson. Good morning, members. Good morning, Mr. Premier, HOD, PC, and colleagues. I've got only 3 questions. And the first one is on the Q1 report. It's particularly interesting that, and Premier, you know my passion about tackling kidnapping in the province. I come from a good space, so I want to share that with the colleagues. But I also understand that PC, the police, particularly in South Africa, has a very difficult time in keeping up with the technology used by the kidnapping syndicates. And I'll elaborate by saying that, PC, you correct me, but just about all the calls from the kidnapping syndicates, the suspects, are made by WhatsApp. They do not use normal phone lines, they do not use normal communication devices, but they call through WhatsApp. And it becomes, if not impossible, to trace and track the whereabouts and the location of those users. I may be incorrectly informed, and I look to you, PC, for some guidance here, that WhatsApp is based in the United States, and the data and all the information needs to be provided by that service operator. What is our position and method, if I can put it like that, to engage those private service providers such as WhatsApp to ensure that they cooperate with the South African Police Services, especially in Gauteng, to ensure that we share those information and data? So I don't know what is the exact technology required. I'm sure you've got secret weapons that the Premier will give you a lot of monies to buy. But I think if the service providers are being used for criminal purposes, they surely must cooperate with our local police forces. Chair, then I move to the second presentation, and thank you, Brigadier Joseph. It's something that's always bugged me. We have many victims of cybercrime, but many victims don't report these crimes because they don't know what to do. And my question and observation is that, can you please share with us what is our training program, if there is such? Or if we don't have, is there plans to develop a training program for our members at SAPS to specialize in dealing with cybercrime? And I want to share a small experience with you. When I visited Singapore some years back, I was introduced to police officers sitting in a very high-tech room. And I see there were academic qualifications. So these were, for example, you will see a brigadier, but with a doctor in the front. So when I asked, so what is your degree? He says, I'm actually a doctor of IT, information technology. So they have those kind of qualifications within the police service to deal with those very high level and complicated cybercrimes. So that's the one question I want to please put to you for clarification. Then, Chair, I move to the third presentation from Gauteng Traffic Police. I see on page 15 that right on the corner of the presentation, right on the corner on the bottom, it says resources required. It says revenue collection buses. Mr. Premier, I have no problems. If you break the law, you must pay the price. I fully agree with that. But my concern is that our Metro Police, and to an extent, our Gauteng Traffic Police, focus on revenue collection. And getting a motorist to stop them to say, can I check your outstanding fines, and please go pay there, does absolutely zero for safety. It only emphasizes on revenue collection. Yes, I do understand that we need the money to ensure that our operation it's running and our government is funded from these people breaking the law. So again, I reiterate, Mr. Premier, I have no issues with that. But if those operations becomes an intensified revenue collection exercise, we then sideline all the safety operations that we need to focus on. A lot of the police officers, some debate with me. I don't see my JMPD colleagues here, but they would debate with me and say, no, we don't do that. But every single day you see JMPD going out there, having a bus that they do nothing but to collect outstanding fines. And those do very little for road safety. In fact, they will see taxis flying past, driving recklessly. But then they will focus on that person that's got an outstanding fine. That's all from me. Thank you, Chair.
Member Mulder?
Thank you, Honourable Chair, Honourable Premier, Acting Commissioner and all the officials present, Honourable members. I'll be short. Presentations are quite comprehensive, reminding us on the real challenges that extent of the challenges that we've got in Gauteng. And my first question would be speaking to the very first presentation, where mention has been made of Project Bola Mgodi and Project Greedy, which was apparently very successful, but it was reactive. What I want to ask is there for instance, a Gauteng illegal mining task team? Is this task team, if there's anything like that, is it dedicated, or is it just a section of the serious crime unit conducts these operations on an ad hoc basis with all the other institutions, government institutions? Or if it's not dedicated, I'm concerned about it, and it might not be dedicated because of lack of resources. So if we really want to stop the illegal mining and all the vigilant actions that goes with it, devastation. I think one should really go for the first prize and have a dedicated Gauteng illegal mining task team with everything that it takes. Second question about vigilantism. It was mentioned by the presenter that there was 49 cases, 33 arrests. My question, attempt to bring it in correlation with the courts and the success rate of these court actions. What was the conviction rate, for instance? I mean, I can ask it in all the instances, but that specific instance, I missed it in the presentation. 49 cases, 33 arrests, what was the conviction rate, if any? And then the last two questions, all is about traffic safety. Indeed, there's a huge challenge, especially over the festive. But as Honourable Member Son referred to the taxis. Honourable Chair, I served in this committee in 2004. That term and also 2009 to 14, and nothing has really changed as far as minibus taxis. In more than 20 years, it seems to me that they can still do what they want, get away with it. And I want to give you an example. I was traveling from Pretoria to Krugersdorp yesterday afternoon in peak hour in that rain. And there was no more than 6 accidents on the N14. One huge one there at the total station, and the road was closed. These things happen. And there were some traffic people involved there, officers there, but in the yellow lane on the left, especially minibus taxis and other vehicles as well, they just pass there, ignore the whole situation, rushing to wherever they want to go, but there was no visible policing to police it. So I'm also concerned about the fact that roadblocks, lots of instances, it seems to be like a money-making project. So my question remains, for longer than 20 years, what are we going to do about traffic offences of minibus taxis? And for the same goes with other local motor vehicles, for instance, uses the yellow lights to get to their destination faster. But I'll stay with that. Thank you, Honourable Chair.
Member Nkani?
Thanks, Honorable Chair, Honorable Premier, Provincial Commissioner, colleagues and members. Thanks. I'll just start to say, sometimes when you say how many we are here, you'll count and forget to count yourself. Because in the report, I don't see something that speaks about the police killings. And police are being killed in this country. So I'll have a suggestion, Honorable Premier, to say we can safeguard police and safeguard also the issue of taking bribes during operations. When we speak about CCTV cameras, we speak about them in a stable asset. But I believe all police vehicles, they should have CCTV cameras that will, at least for a certain distance, they must be able to see. So that those policemen and women, when they are on duty, there's something that will surveil them for their safety and also for them not to do things that they are not supposed to do during operation. That's my view on that one. Then the other issue, it's the issue of illegal mining. I think that thing, it has a background. It never started after 1994. It started long ago. And after 1994, I know some people or comrades when we were happy trying to construct this country, who came with the concept of small mining and they approach mines. Some of them, they were even arrested for illegal mining while they were trying to make it legal. I know of my colleague who's staying in Guatem, who started that thing, a registration of small scale of mining industry. So when we deal with this matter, we must check the background. And when you go to the background, you'll find the source to say these mining companies are the one who are sponsoring illegal mining. And when you investigate and your stats there, they only speak about illegal miners. They don't speak about the sources who are buying that illegal product that is being produced. So now, illegal mining before 1994, South Africans were involved in it. After 1994, South Africans are no longer part of it. Why they are no longer part? Foreign military men from various countries, all of them, either they are trained as guerrillas or what. Some from Renamo, some from Frelimo, some from Lesotho Defense Force and so forth. But they are, most of them, they are military men and they are equipped. And we're busy saying they are illegal miners. No, to me, they are mercenaries. They have just declared the war in our country against our people and against our systems, against our safety and defense. They will even go on social media carrying weapons. And you are treating it because we want to display South Africa as a most civilized country while you are promoting promoting violence and compromising our safety and our defense in the country. So on that one, I think we must relook, Honorable Premier. We'll also raise it in the House so that we have a motion or some sort of a bill around this thing. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Chair. I think first, maybe let's first start by appreciating the work that has been done by SAPS in fighting illegal mining. There's clearly a lot of work that is being done. Having read the report, Chair, I'm encouraged that there were like 2,033 visits to the mines and 523 operations targeting illegal mining, which is a sign that work is being done to deal with the crime that steals from the people of this country, because those mines, illegal mines, they don't pay tax. So we are losing money as a country. And I'm also happy that these operations by TPCI also are targeting the kingpins, the masterminds, those who orchestrate this organized crime. So we want to thank SAPS for the work that they've been doing. But Chair, I must also, having acknowledged the good work that is being done, I visited Kagiso Police Station a few weeks ago, and the councillors attended that meeting and the CPF attended that meeting. And there was a serious frustration in that meeting caused by illegal mining. And the councillors there raised a view that it looks like Operation Valam Koti has stopped and illegal mining premium has increased at an alarming rate in that area. There's an informal settlement there called Soul City, which the councillors must indicate that they are happy that also the community there is happy that 24 HIMARS lights were installed by the provincial government. And so I want to thank you on their behalf that at least there's work that is coordinated that tries to minimize crime. But still, Soul City, unfortunately, still has high crime rates. And the primary source of this illegal crime is illegal mining. This area, there's also another area, Premier and Police Commissioner, that is called Reed Valley or Reed Flay. And this land is owned by Sibanye Gold. Sibanye Gold has allowed an informal settlement there to grow without any check. And this informal settlement is dominantly occupied, at least that's what I was told in that meeting that I attended, by illegal foreigners. And that informal settlement is becoming a major source of crime. There is another one called Swaneville. It is also owned by a mining house, Harmony Gold, that piece of land. And it has become a source of crime. So my point is, Comrade Premier, is that I think that the mining houses must come to the party. They can't just stand and become innocent or honest bystanders when land where they've made millions, if not billions over the years, that they consider that land no longer profitable, they leave it. And criminals go in there, they build houses, they steal, they cause harm to our people. So I think that while there's a multi-pronged approach which involves all stakeholders, the mining houses must be involved. They can't just be left not be involved. Because these criminals who stay in these informal settlements, they sell this gold. They have large amounts of cash. And they rob each other. They kill each other, which also increases the statistics because every criminal who's killed there is a human being. Once they're killed, it's recorded as murder. So I think that we really need to Valam Koti needs to come back, but there needs to be maybe a different approach. As I said, let's bring the mining houses with all their money. They've got billions. Let them contribute their billions that they've made from the people of this country all these years. So that will be my input, Chair, that I think that there may be a need to reboot Operation Valam Koti because there is a cry that thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. I wish to echo the sentiments of the colleagues with regard to the work that you are doing as law enforcement in the province. Indeed, it's not as if nothing is being done. I think the challenges sometimes is just too huge or too big for us to be able to address in isolation, and I use the term isolation very, very guardedly, in the sense that we have very limited resources. But I'm glad to see this collaboration in terms of the law enforcement agencies working together, more specifically targeting the festive season. Last time we had a meeting, I voiced my opinion with regard to arrests, which is good. It shows work being done. That's an output. When does it lead to an outcome? And that is what we need to be focusing upon. And that is the conviction rate. Because if you don't increase and move from an output to an outcomes scenario, we're not going to be able to reach our impact, which is our objective, and that is a safer Gauteng. People won't be feeling safe. I don't feel safe because I know there's a number of arrests being made, because I know tomorrow those people are back on the road. They're back in society again, and I know that it is out of your hands as law enforcement. There is a judiciary and there's a process that needs to follow. And that is where I think the challenge comes to us, Mr. Premier and colleagues here. We are the lawmakers. What are we doing to strengthen the hand of those who are here to serve and protect us? We always look to them and we're always finding fault with them. What are we doing to be able to give them the necessary power and authority to deal more decisively with criminals? And that is to look at the entire criminal justice system so that we can reach that impact, which is a safer society. With regard to the cybercrime issue, I saw that there were 2 convictions that were spoken about here, and I'm sure there's others. But what perturbs me here is the fact that in both cases, there was a remission of sentence in the sense that it was suspended. Now, I can understand the court looks at severity. But to me, cybercrime is crime. If someone is being stolen or fleeced out of 2,000 rand, to me, it is not about the amount, it is about the crime itself. And therefore, justice must be seen to be done, and people must pay the price. Because I'm sure all of us here, well, I'm going to speak for myself. I know that I've been conned a couple of times, and that is with this WhatsApp thing. Please borrow me 2,000 rand, and you know it's a good friend, and you see the profile, etc., and without thinking, you know, you do the necessary, and then you find out that you've been fleeced. And we know it's on the increase and on the rise, and unless a very strong message is sent that when you are convicted, you are going to serve your time, we're not going to be able to address the issue itself. Now, I'd like to also just, okay, I'll go through this and I'll come back to the illegal mining aspect of it. In both presentations that were made, there was talk about the fact that in the festive season there's partying, etc., that happens. There was also with the anti-gang unit, for example, the after tears, releasing of after tears events and so on, which is good. But it just mentions it. And then also with your safety, you were talking about drag racing, drinking in public. What is actually being done about it? Because it's not just an over a festive season period that this happens. I'll come back to that one. I'm very pleased to see that there is indeed a very structured plan in the presentation you've made. It speaks to who the commanders are, etc., etc. And I like that special instructions where no officer shall be sitting in their car, and they shall conduct themselves in an appropriate professional manner. And let's hope that that gets policed by the management. But let me come back to the issue with regard to drinking in public, drag racing, etc. Now, you are professional officers, law enforcement officers, and I can understand that you have challenges with regard to how do you utilize your limited resources to combat crime. So you'd be looking at petty crime, and you'd be saying, please, we'll let them slide, because we need to focus on the other things. And that's where your limited resources are once more being impacted upon because of the disruptive operations you have to do, especially in those corridors where we have mining happening. Now, I have the privilege and honor to be in the presence of General Kakana, who was my station commander at one stage. And we worked very closely together. And you understand the challenges when you know where I live. It's right on that mining belt. There's scarcely a night that doesn't go by when 2 or 3 of those WhatsApp groups that I belong to talk about Zama's shooting. And just last week, we were in Moshilakeng. And there, the councillors and the community indicated to us that the police officers cannot go and confront these zama-zamas because of the fact that they are outmanned, they are outgunned. And I think the legislation that we have rules once more the law, in a sense, ties your hands behind your back. And our people live in fear. They are terrorized right where they are living. And on 8 Mall Street, which is maybe a kilometer away from where I live, those houses are right there, the mining belt. So when shots go, people have to go and lay on the floor to sleep so that others have started to put up double walls in front so that they can prevent bullets from their homes. So what are we going to do about that? And I think, remember, Unene spoke about it. We need to get the mining houses involved here as well. And remember, Mulder spoke about a different approach in terms of task teams to deal with. And then we talk about the issue with regard to resources again. How are you going to do that? I don't know. But those are the challenges, and I'm speaking here as a public representative, also personally affected by the circumstances our people and our families find ourselves in. I think, remember, you spoke very, the facts. I was in Lesotho a few weeks ago, and I spoke to those police officers. Those guys don't walk around with firearms. There's law and order in Lesotho. Yet those guys are here carrying big guns. And the officer said to me, one of the senior officers said to me, you know what, we made an invitation to the South African authorities that our guys come and police our people. They know what policing is. So, I understand we come from a very bleak and dark past of Skopskit and Donner. But somewhere there has to be some authority. Somehow we need to make sure that our people are protected. And I've seen not just once, but on a couple of these slides, for the issue of the safety of our state. So yeah, it doesn't just pose a safety hazard for us within the communities that we're living in. It actually poses a threat to state as well. Now, coming back to the issue with regard to roads, the dragging and public open spaces, and there's, when you don't curtail something or stop something, bad practice in its tracks, it just proliferates. And it adds to that feeling of lawlessness, and everybody becomes lawless because others get away with it. Closing off public roads over weekends, just having a party, disrupting traffic flow, drinking in public. Now, come back to the very issue that I was talking about in terms of letting the minor or petty crime slide. The broken window syndrome, which is a phenomenon we all know, if you don't address the small things, the big things continue to mushroom. And they just begin to grow. So you start by teaching your child when they are young, don't throw that paper on the floor in your house. And then you teach your child, don't throw that paper, discard that paper in the public space. And your child then knows not to litter. Similarly, if we deal with these aspects of drinking in public, drag racing, lawlessness, I can assure you, and I think you know it, that you will bring back law and order. Because this ordinary citizen then realizes and sees that, you know what, if they're taking care of the smaller things, they are definitely taking care of the bigger things. So that is my plea to you. With the limited resources that you have, and there's many multipliers, and I come back to my old addict. What are we doing about reservists who are people who are committed to making a difference? And we just discard them. There is no intake anymore. I understand the challenge with regard to people getting employed, should I say, or entering as reservists and then demanding to be made permanent. They sign a contract when they sign up. So I understand that aspect of things, but I think that we have many good people out there who want to make a difference, and we are not encouraging them to participate so that we can address this issue that affects us all. Because you are not just law enforcement officers, you are also citizens, and your families too are affected by it. And when you put on that uniform in the morning and you come to work, or when you go on your shift, your family doesn't know whether you're going to be returning home that evening. So let's make a difference together. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, honorable members. Maybe just to conclude the section, from our comments, many points have been raised, which I was going to raise, but I just need to re-emphasize a few points. You know, the part of the plans around the festive season and acknowledging the challenge of illegal, the migration that is going to happen, the border post being overcrowded and also be used. I'm not sure if we can't have a proactive operation that will help us to document foreign nationals, those who are coming in back. You know, we can start it as they leave, but also to formalize an operation. I know that we don't have a border as such as Gauteng, but I think we can be able to, through you, PC, that we actually recommend that everyone who leaves be documented, and then everyone who comes back, we verify the papers before their entry. You know, at least let's start with those who are using legal routes to come into the country. You know, maybe that will also work in that regard. And we also have to look at the informal settlements, because most of the informal settlements, you know, we know that they are established because of illegal mining. You know, all these activities of illegal mining, they do have informal settlements around them. But also we need to have operations to document individuals in those informal settlements or wherever we find them. We need to have a system where when we catch them, when we arrest them, I see that we do arrest a number of them, but what do we do with them? You know, it can't be that we just send them, we say we deport them, and then they still come back and they still remain at large within our province. We need to have a formalized structure framework in which, as a province, we can be able to identify every individual within our actually borders. And maybe the last point around this issue is that we need to show the intensity of the operations that way. Good work has been done, you know, in terms of illegal mining. Good work has been done against, you know, on gangsterism, but we are not indicating the intensity, and we are not showing and demonstrating to the public that work is being done. When I made my opening remarks, I did indicate that we are working within an environment in the context of trust deficit. And we need to build that trust with our communities. We need to build the confidence of the citizens on the police service. We also need to make sure that we are able to, the social policing, there's this thing, I think, a concept called social policing. And I know that every problem that comes, you know, everyone feels that it ultimately a problem of, let's say we are talking about school closures. You know, schools will be closed, and there are two major school vacations in the country. It's the winter vacation and this one, and which are the longest. What do we do? You know, from the point of view, and maybe this also goes to community safety department, we need to start thinking about developing activities that are going to preoccupy young people over this period. We cannot be, as a country or as a province, just agree that they are going to be sleeping throughout the next 4 weeks and doing absolutely nothing. That's where we breed problems. That's where we breed issues of drugs. That's where we breed wrongdoing. So the community safety department, jointly with the Department of Education and Social Development, or as a province, let's have a plan. You know, let's maybe beyond the reactive aspects of our plans, you know, let's have a proactive one. I know that most of the affluent individuals, they take their kids to camps over vacations. They pay a whole lot of money. There's a famous one in KZN, you know, and it can't be that because our kids, our communities are not that affluent, we can't do it. And as government, something that we need to do. We need to take charge. I think that's also one way of bringing back the authority of the state, you know, to run you know, the affairs of our country and our province, and we don't really complain about them. The issue of the cybercrime, I think I've been covered on the issue of the sentencing. I was actually astounded to see that most of the sentences or judgments that were there, you know, they were suspended. That's not okay. You know, we are not sending the correct actually messaging across it. And cybercrime is increasing, you know, and that's the reason that it's part of the priority areas that will require more of regular reporting around it. And in particular during festive season, we know that it actually goes up. The issue of roadblocks, I think it has been covered, and we did have a discussion, PC, around the roadblocks, the nature and the purpose of roadblocks, because we need to bring back that roadblocks are there to deter crime and prevent crime. But if roadblocks are used for other reasons, then it becomes an issue, and they are not coordinated. One of the bigger complaints with actually citizens, it happens with provincial traffic, it happens with the metro police departments, where you get 5 operations in one area. You know, in one corner in Vetkopen, when you go on Main, another group is standing there, and they're almost not even doing the issue of deterrence of crime. You know, I know that drinking and driving is an issue, you know, and it's a very serious issue. But we need to bring back the purpose and the objective of roadblocks in terms of prevention and in terms of detecting actually crime. I'm actually 2 last points. Okay, 3. The one is the school safety. Burglaries are going to happen in our schools, you know, and during this period, we need, you know, somehow a way of how we protect our schools. We can't have a situation where we just accept that schools will be burglared and we will have to deal with the problem in January. There must be something that we need to do. I don't know what. It could be security, it could be police, it could be community in terms of the policy forums, to be able to have a focused attention on protecting schools in particular. And maybe Comrade Premier or Honorable Premier, the issue of our interventions, I think we need to make it our regular, maybe quarterly reporting in terms of the successes or the feedback on the utilization of technology interventions. CCTV, what successes have we received? Panic attack, panic buttons, our A-wing, so that we also formally track the successes of the interventions that are put in place. And lastly, my comment will be also to agree with Honorable Nkani, and I'm glad that he raised it. It's something that we talk about in terms of the welfare of our police officers. You know, the platforms, they are, Member Kunene went to one of the police stations to see that the police stations are not really the one that he visited. I think it's one in Benoni, which didn't really have a lot of amenities. But beyond that, the issue of the police killings. I think it's one of the things that we need to start tracking, PC. How many and where and the circumstances thereof of the police. So it must not just be an ordinary. I know that we do have commemorations of the officers who die on duty, but I think just to put it on the table so that it becomes one of our preoccupations on the police killings, the circumstances and everything, so that we know that it cannot just be okay that an officer passes on and it just be an ordinary day and we move. The issue of dash cams and body cams has come up. Member Ngani has raised it again. And we know that in the traffic department, Gauteng Traffic Department, there was a pilot that was done on dash cams, but something that we need to continue to emphasize that with the fiscal problems, challenges that we have, we need to look at that. It's going to help us in a long run, to curb and build trust and confidence to the police, curb corruption and build trust on the police force. I think those are the few. I think most of the comments that I had were covered by actually members. I'm lucky that as a committee we do have people who've got a great experience as officers themselves and also serving in this committee. So they normally cover most of the issues even before, as a chair, pretend to understand everything. They are here. Over to you. I'm not sure who will start from your side, PC and the Premier and the HOD.
Thank you. Yeah, PC.
Yeah.
Yeah, PC. Thank you, honorable members, Chair, the Premier. This issue of PC, is something else. There was a sound clip which was making rounds from Madlanga Commission. So I've spoken to my management that let's take a sense of responsibility when people are addressing the juniors, irrespective of the rank lower. They tend to throw the name of the PC. So even where it's not necessary, but thank. Yeah, so it's the PC. Yeah, but thank you very much for the questions, honorable members. I will start with the honorable son. Kidnapping indeed is a problem in the province, and you are rightful so to say, as and when we dealing with these kidnappings, the kidnappings, it's very much sensitive I'll say to the public or the community, irrespective of whether that kidnapping is 1 minute or 2 minutes, the person is deprived of his freedom. We are, of course, linking up with the other role players in terms of the E2 project. E2 project is the eyes and ears which include the security industry. We know for the fact that the National Commission have signed a memorandum of agreement in terms of the E2 project. It has shown some success in terms of the collaborations in terms of the E2 project, because we have even sometimes I'll reveal even issues which will deter us to proceed to investigate in future. You know, the linkage of some sort of
electronic transaction in terms of the process, maybe the banks and so on and so forth. Your concern is that the WhatsApp, which is indeed a challenge, of which we are, of course, trying to collaborate, but in some of these instances, you could not really locate as to say exactly where are these people. But I must just indicate that with these collaborations, we have resolved quite a number of these cases where we were in a position to can resolve it. On the 24th, on the 24th of October, you know, for the fact here in Parktown, we managed to resolve this one of the Chinese community was kidnapped. Though we managed to resolve that a week before, but we made a follow-up because we could not get the main person. And with that, there was an interaction in terms of firing, of which unfortunately 3 of those suspects were fatally wounded. They got some guns. We know for the fact in Alexander, there's a businessman who was kidnapped, and then we happened to Kempton Park, where we ultimately had an interaction with a person nicknamed Dollar Man. So there are quite a number of successes, but we understand the concern from the honorable members that we have to do more. We have to ensure that we make a collaborations in terms of this WhatsApp. This issue, it is a burning issue, and I always say, though when I say this statement, people they are saying I am making everyone to be afraid. I said anyone, even us who are seated here, we are potential for kidnapping. So irrespective of what position you are holding. So I say to the law enforcement agency, when we have these kidnappings and we're following the information, we must give our level best in terms of resolving it. So that the kidnappers, the message must really go to the kidnappers to say, when you are kidnapping a person, depriving that individual his or her freedom, it's like you are committing suicide. So the message has to go through like that to the law enforcement agency, because when they do kidnapping, they look on what you are driving, they have information of your wealth, and in some other instances, it can be your child, it can be your relatives, it can be any other person. So this matter is very much sensitive, and we are working hard on it and to ensure that we create the sense of safety. And these kidnappers, the message has to go through really to say kidnapping is like you're committing suicide. Then the issue of cybercrime training, indeed, we have a programs or some programs in terms of the cybercrime training, which is facilitated by the Human Resource Development Head Office. We yearly we having like the province. I have to put together with my management as to say, yeah, we need this training, which is offered from the South African Police Service. We make a submission with a projected cost of which we send to the divisional commissioner responsible for training, which is Dr. Zulu. But as and when there is a need, we are in a position to can make additions to say, for example, illegal mining. Because the issues of illegal mining is also topical, and I appeared in Parliament with other senior management of the South African Police Service from head office. I'll just touch on it in terms of that appearance. So we have dedicated in the South African Police Service the commercial crime unit, within the province is commanded by a brigadier, and Brigadier Baikis, I'm not so sure whether it's here, and these people, they specialize in these commercial crimes, to show that we have a capability in terms of training for commercial crime. There's quite a number of members of the South African Police Service, those who have been, poached or taken by the commercial banking sector in South Africa. So there's quite a number of them. Some of them, they're doing well. Within there, we're working with them, we're collaborating. I know there's one from one commercial bank in South Africa whom we work closely in terms of the ATM bombings. Because the ATM bombings, you'll find that it's a specific machines or specific targeting. And in terms of following through, we had quite a number of successes with that former member of the South African Police Service who was working for commercial crime. So with that one, but we have taken note of your concern, but we do have the training in place. Honorable Melder, Valum Godi, again here, it is a concern, as I've indicated, that it's a talking point, it's a concern to the community, more especially those communities, those who are seated within the proximity where there are mining holes. I must just say that the team, the question was asked, is the Operation Valum Godi, is it there? It is there, derived from the provincial level. Where's Brigadier Josie? Derived from the provincial level. Every Friday I'm having accountability session. In that accountability session, which I chair myself, it includes also the Most Wanted Suspect Premier Initiative. I chair that one. When we're done, we also deal with this Operation Valum Godi in terms of the operational metrics to make sure that these activities, they are coordinated from the provincial level. Maybe safe to say that as and when we have that information, because the problem is you deal with them, maybe after 1 day or 2 days, because they know they go there, and then some of them, they regroup and then they go back. But what we do as and when we get the information, we deploy our drone teams. We're having the drone pilots for the South African Police Service, which we fly and then we take the information, and from there we assemble the team, we go and it has happened in Kibla Park. I think I was phoned from the presidency, and but except that before that, in Kibla Park, we're in that space, and we managed, through the deployment of the drone, we managed to see that indeed these people are operating, and we tackled them. We got not less than 4 firearms. Then I got a call from the presidency. We again zoom into that area, and we have found that there's another space which we're not in. It's a processing center. This is a well-organized processing center of which we arrange, and we dealt with it with the DPCI. But that operation itself, it was successful, and then we got some firearms there. For example, in Benoni as well, we're having quite a number of concerns from the community, the Snake Road and all those areas which we have to deal with it. Maybe let me say that part of Operation Valum Godi is on the lower level. It's level 1 to 2, of which 3, 4, 5 is dealt with by the DPCI. As you could have heard, this project Greedy. In other words, there you concentrate on the main people, those who are dealing with this illegal mining. For example, this project Greedy, we had a significant progress as it was presented that on the 10th of June, we focused on 2 targets. General Kadwa is not here, Brigadier Schobela, she's here. We target mainly on 2 targets, target number 2 and 5, where they were charged in terms of contravention of this Precious Metals Act. The 2 cases went forward and we ultimately got link of a Primrose where at the end of the day, these cases, they are still in a court roll. We further in Primrose got a preservation order, which is not something which you can just get instantly. And it was granted for gold valued at almost 800,000, 785. We also have processed it in terms of Section 252 of the purchase, which is you put entrapment in order to deal with these issues precisely. And in that order, in April, we got the forfeiture order was granted for the cash seized to amounting 3 million. And this money was put into the caravan. We have to take note that the support from national in terms of volume good, because currently we are dealing with it, and as and when we want national head office to come, to call them, it was supported through the caravan, which was put to help thereof. This issue of Primrose, we had a petition through the MMCs, through the members of the local government, which was taken to National Parliament. Then the PC was summoned into the Joint Standing Committee in Parliament, where I had to specifically do the presentation for these issues of Primrose, because there is a concern relating to that, to say we are not giving enough, I would say, work in terms of a Primrose. And hence, this case is one of the efforts which we have put in there. But the other thing is that areas like Benoni, areas like Soul City in Kagiso, as and when we push in this operation Shanyela too, and if we are in that space, and then we deal precisely with this operation volume good. I've been in Primrose, I think not less than 3 times, 4 times this year. But as I'm saying, in the instances, you get firearms, you resolve it, you say you have resolved it, and then these people, they come again. I should think we will have to put more effort in ensuring that they don't come back. I should think I've indicated in terms of ad hoc, we have a team. Vigilantism. We were also told that we must check on the source of the owners of this mine in terms of Honorable Nkani's question. We have taken note of that, Honorable Member. From that level 3 to level 5, we will indeed deal with that. Vigilantism, conviction rate, it is a concern, Honorable Members, the Premier, as it was cited here on the vigilantism, we arrested 49 people. I mean, we had 49 cases, we arrested 33 people. The conviction rate does not come, the way would one expect, but I must just indicate that in terms of the detective's performance, because what is key and important is that what the provincial commissioner is doing in order to ensure that we have to have an increase on a conviction rate. So we had our quarterly review session. I spoke to the Premier because from time to time, the Premier calls me at any given time. So I told the Premier that We are having a quarter review session. So we have looked into the performance of the detectives, which was not satisfactory. The steps which is taken from my side is that there has to be accountability session at least twice in a month, on a weekly, a bi-weekly, so that we can also take the stock of this conviction rate. But the conviction rate is not necessarily the input by the South African Police Service. It has to do also from the side of the court. What we have is that we're having the cash flow management with Department of Justice, with the branch commander, where we articulating these issues, also including the conviction rate. Like the Honorable Member Moody there, I heard you indicated that when we arrest, it's an output, but we're not getting the results in terms of the conviction. So, yeah, one has to indicate that we have to work harder in order to make sure that, because you can go to any level. This issue of conviction rate have been asked even in National Parliament. So it is something which is concerning, which we have to work harder, as more especially the South African Police Service, together with the justice system. As I've indicated, we're having a cash flow management. The road block is many making schemes. Yeah, what I can say is that the other concern is that these roadblocks, they are not really well coordinated. You find somebody is there, you find someone is there. The fact of the matter is a really roadblock has to be set up in terms of the South African Police Service Act, section 13(8). The station commander for that specific policing precinct, he or she has to sign off that it's a roadblock. What you see is not a roadblock, it's these other people, they call it a scap fang, something of that sort. Scap fang. Yeah, scap fang, but not literally meaning that we are catching the ships here. It's a vehicle control checkpoint. That is the correct word. It's a vehicle control checkpoint, which we are VCP, which you don't need section 13(a). But if they close, any closure of setting up signs and all those other things, if that is not set up in terms of that section, then those people, they are busy doing something else. What we will request is that as and when, because you are saying it's many making schemes, what we request is that if honorable members or any member of the public happens to be affected, and that these people, they just close the road and then just to make money. It's like where you're having a pothole, where it has rained, and then these debris, the sand have closed. That these people in some other areas, they give themselves job, and then they start to remove the sand. And then they put something you must pay. So a roadblock is not meant for that. Roadblock is meant critically to ensure that whatever is in transit, which might have been robbed in your house, TV or whatever, a car stolen or robbed, in that specific point, we must be in a position to can detect. And the fatalities on the roads, the chief presented the fatalities on the road, so that if there's anyone who have taken something which makes him to be under the influence, we can be in a position to can deal with that particular person. Not to collect money or you find that this police, they are taking the head, they are putting there by the driver. You don't know what is that, what they are talking about there. So we'll request that if you can assist us in terms of dealing with this issue so that we can be in a position to can deal with that. Police killing, it is a concern. The chairperson also articulated on it, and the chairperson reflected that we have in the program in the South African Police Service, we have in the National Commemoration Day, we have in the Provincial Commemoration Day. Fortunately, this year, the Honorable Chairperson he attended the Provincial Commemoration Day within the province, and the HOD or the acting HOD was present in there. And I understand that this police killing is not limited only to those members, those who are killed while performing their duties. And there are also others, those who are killed. You find that it's out of that. But we do have the numbers like last, we had, it was a total of 4, but now, for this financial year, it has surpassed that 4 now, as we stand that, because there in Ekurhuleni we had almost 3, of which they were killed while on duty, or they placed themselves on duty. So we have taken note of that. Though I must indicate that the South African Police Service, we're having a component called EHW, which is an Employee Health Wellness. That comprise of Baruti, the reverend or the pastors, comprise of the psychologists, the social worker, those who deal with the family, aftermath. Though it will not bring, their loved ones, but we have in that program which we deal with in terms of the police killing. CCTV camera, in terms of the vehicle, we have taken note of that. We deliberated on it on the Board of Commissioners. Currently, we have the program which is in place, linked to the supply chain nationally in terms of rolling out this issue of the vehicles has to be fitted with that, because you have to meet specific specification thereof. But I would say with what we are having, Premier, we are in a position to monitor quite a number of activities by the law enforcement agents. I'll give you an example. In Kempton Park, there was a truck jacking for G4S. G4S. It was captured. It ended up in a TikTok. Hey, people, they like TikTok. So we ended up arresting TikTok. We ended up arresting our own, which was the members of the South African Police Service and Gauteng Traffic Police. So it shows that what we have, really, it is working, though I hear that you are saying the enhancement, because I also had exchange program internationally, and I was the head of the delegations, where we came back, we presented, showed these cameras where, like the public order policing, whatever they're putting here is having a camera, it is also assisting, so that if there are allegations, we can be in a position to show, as to say, what is the position. The Honorable Kunene, Honorable Kunene and Honorable Moody, we really appreciate for the words of encouragement. We don't often get it. So, we don't often get it. Anything you do, hey, you know that you'll be in trouble. Even if you are trying your level best, you can see, but this Aram Skepsel, it looks like it's not even sleeping, but it looks like honorable members, they noticed that, like Honorable Kunene and Moody. Kagiso, though I touched the issue of the illegal mining, fortunately the station commander is here. The station commander, maybe you must stand up, they must see you, so that, because she's representing the district commissioner who's hospitalized, by the way. I did not indicate that. With Operation Valmgodi, I think I deliberated quite a lot, but your concern, it's had. The PC, yeah, let's use this. The PC himself will make sure that is also in that space. I've been in that space quite a number of times. I remember in one of the operations, specifically that Salt City. I know that place. I walk that place. I've even walked it during the night. One of the operation, we managed to get over 50 pendukas. I think it was between 60 and 70. Yeah. But the thing is, we deployed our undercover operation at one stage, and we managed to engage them. I think at one stage there was one person who was fatally wounded, and then we got a revolver in that space. But as I'm saying, as and when you deal with this issue, these people, they come again, of which we have to create some sense of how do we deal with these issues, we eradicate it totally. And indeed, those spaces, they are creating or they are generating murders because they fight for the territory within that space. And we have also taken note of Red Valley, Swaneville, of which we also do in terms of Operation Valumgodi or the provincial Shanyela operation. The Honorable Member Moody, festive season plan, anti-gang, after party, drag racing. Yeah, these are the issues which do happen, and we're doing quite a number of work within those spaces, more special those which are affected by the gangs. More special in Sofa Town, Westbury. Even this week, yeah, I think we got 2 firearms from that space, and we arrested some people. I think that one, yeah, I did not send it to you because, hey, this G20, it has taken its toll as well. We're kept quite on our toes to ensure that we ensure that the inhabitants of Gauteng, they are and they feel safe. So I must just indicate that in terms of this drag racing, it's something which we call it sporadic, you know, something which comes instantly, but we are in a capacity to can police it as a law enforcement agency. Law enforcement agency in the Metro Police, Gauteng Traffic Police, we create a sense of indicating to say we're having this drag racing in this specific space. Let's take care of that one. We also take note, Honorable Member, in terms of drinking in public. We're working very hard on that one, but on the other hand, Honorable Members, we must be mindful that we must not just arrest these people who keep them over the weekend there. There is a process which, when you have arrested them, sober up and make sure that when you have to ensure that they are sobered, and then you prepare them to go to court, because this is one of the issues which we're having civil litigations. Though I'm not supposed to speak about civil litigation, but it's there. Gauteng is one of the highest contributing in South Africa. You'll realize that the intended, not the money itself, the intended action in terms of the papers which people they intend to put a civil litigation in the South African Police Service. Only for Gauteng, it runs over billions. Runs over 2 billion. So it's the majority of the civil litigation is from unlawful arrest, and the bulk of them, it comes from this crossfire, so on and so forth. So, but I was just indicating that you have to take note that we have to exercise the caution in terms of that. The drone pilot, I think I've covered the chairperson migration, the migration chairperson to outer province. Yeah, we got it, chairperson. You know, when it's spoken by the chairperson, you can't argue. You'll have to create ways and means how to deal with it. But in a reality, chairperson, this migration of foreign nationals, here we're not talking illegal, because there's two sets. There's illegal, there's foreign nationals, those who are legal in the country. So this migration of the foreign nationals, those who came in the country legally, so you can do that, but on the border gate. When we do our roadblock, more special now, concentrating on that they are migrating to their countries, or the other people that are migrating to the different provinces in South Africa. But here we're talking of the foreign nationals. You can do that appropriately at the border gate, because the roadblock, we set up the roadblock, we call it outbound. You can't be stopping each and every car because the car, they're streamlined. You don't know in this car there's foreign nationals, in that car there's a what. You can't be stopping each and every car. Otherwise, people will end up not moving. You'll even clock the cities. Like in Pretoria, I work in Pretoria. In Pretoria, you have a close of one street. That street is affecting the whole CBD. You clock that Hoshimampur, it get clocked. The entire street get clocked. So the Border Management Authority, they are the people who can put this and make sure that they assist us. But we'll speak to them because they are our colleagues. But those who are illegal, we in Gauteng, it's just that Gauteng is very busy. And everyone is looking at Gauteng Premier. Gauteng is very busy. We are the province which puts more in the bucket in terms of illegal immigrants. Yesterday I was in the Operation Chanel. I was in Uval and Cleveland. I think we arrested not less than 60. Yeah, but when I'm in Johannesburg and Hillbrook, it's not less than 200, sometimes 400. In 6 hours, 8 hours, the illegal, here we're talking of illegal. So we will, of course, put this also with the Department of Home Affairs, because you also raise those people who are in the informal settlement. But our colleagues has to also to assist us in terms of dealing with that issue. Yeah, the work we're doing, I agree to that we are not marketing it that much, but our corporate communication here, though we are trying our level best for all these Shanyela operations, you find that we are on these TVs. And if we are not on the TVs, the electronic media, and then they use it. I know for the fact that Thursday, it was, Saturday, it was G20. I was in Alex for Shanyela. We did not have a media, it was heavily raining. And we have posted, and then I've seen those posts there, because I don't do this posting, and then they do the posting, but I make sure that they do those postings. But we'll try and do more in terms of that. The schools, as you rightfully say, Chairperson, I heard you wanted to say every problem we're having, we're securitizing it. You wanted to say that, but it did not come out clearly. You know, for the fact, even the community members, you are seated in your sitting room, you see a black cat, you phone the police. You see a small snake, you phone the police. So, we have taken note of developing these programs in conjunction with the Department of Education. But the issue of the whole government approach, that is something which we have to take into cognizance, that we have to pull all the government departments to assist. And Department of Social Development is the department which plays a role, key role there. For example, during G20, even the meetings where we meet in the Premier, these homeless, it's a serious concern. And during G20, we created a program, which I will not indicate how did we deal with that, but we created a program, a lawful program, which we have dealt with the issues of homeless. The schools, I had engagement with MEC Chilwan in terms of the school. The MEC Chilwan, I think there's over 70 or 79 schools, which 75 schools, which we are giving a special priority. And that program, I've taken it to our top management, Premier. Top management is on Monday. It's just that in the morning, I must account what actually happened for the past 7 days to the National Commission. But the deputies, together with the district commissioner, and then they deal with that. So they're giving a feedback on a weekly basis. So those are the schools which are prioritized in terms of the challenges within the school. We will, of course, get also the schools which is having security, because there are other schools which is taken care of, and the schools which is not having this security, so that we can deal with these schools precisely in terms of adopt a COP project. But General Kekan will have to make a serious note so that we can be in a position to make visits in those schools, so that we can prevent that the house breakings within those schools and so on and so forth. So yeah, I think we'll put this plan comprehensively through the Prof. Jones, so that we have to ensure that we take care of our schools in the province. I think that is what I can say for now. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, Honorable Members.
Premier, HOD, you're covered. Okay. Thanks, PC and Premier, for the responses. I think most of the issues are issues that are continuous conversations and continuous engagement. We'll continue to monitor them. We see that the crime stats have been released. We will have a separate engagement on the stats, also not to interrupt your functioning. You know, we don't want tomorrow to say we have overreached and we have interrupted policing in the province. We don't, we don't want to be accused. We don't want to be accused of that. But thank you for the comprehensive report. I think it was worthwhile. We will then continue with the meeting. I will request that we take a 5 minutes body break. By 12:20, we must come back so that we do the presentations from SIRA, if there's anything that they need to present to us, and the IPID, and presentations from the metros. I'm only told that we only have got Ekurhuleni in the House. So it means we only have got 3 presentations. If they are significant, we'll then, hopefully by 1:30, we'll be out of here and having lunch. So let's have a 5 minutes body break and stretch, breathe in and out, take deep breath. And yeah, you may, yeah, you may. I know that you have got difficult problems to deal with. Thank you. Thanks. 20 past, we reconvene. It was comprehensive.
I'm going
Ngiyabona la. No, but abahlale baphezulu bala. And akusi yabo so number 3. So number 3.
Only difference between this and this. 231 arguments. One are gang related. So number 2 again. I'm sure
Yeah, no, definitely.
you're my gangster.
Then
When I justice.
so you know they must remove the name of justice. You know the issue about this. It's also an indicator of trust.
Yeah.
So the more you have it, it means the public don't trust.
When I go in 4 provinces.
I think Mele sends an emotion, maybe 2 motions for the next. After the new term. Members and colleagues, can we come in? Can we come in so that we can start? We only have one report from the metros. We are starting HOD. Maybe can we close that door? So there's an indication that we have started. I'm not sure who's going to present from Ekurhuleni, but you are next. You can come up. And now you know what to present. We have been presenting for long. And then we'll follow with Sira and then IPID. Over to you.
Honorable Chairperson, members of the Portfolio Committee, HODs that are here, the PC in absentia, and the self-management HODs, all protocol observed. I will be doing this presentation. Yes, I am Deputy Director Klimba from EMPD. Humble apologies, Chair, they're assisting me here. Thank you, Honorable Chair. The municipal overview, yes, we are in terms of our vision, a smart, creative and developmental city. The mission, Ekurhuleni provides sustainable and people-centered developmental services that are affordable, appropriate and of a high quality. We are focused on social, environment and economic regeneration of our city and communities as guided by the principles of Batupili and through commitment of motivated and dedicated team. Honorable Chair, Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Police Department continues to drive its mandate of ensuring public safety, traffic management, and law enforcement excellence across the city of Ekurhuleni and, of course, Gauteng as a whole. Guided by the departmental business plan, the EMPD monitors its own progress and operational effectiveness through a series of key performance indicators that reflect both in strategy and direction and on its day-to-day impact of operation in the communities. Chair, I will just, this KPI stretches across the core operational areas from crime prevention and traffic enforcement to capital and operational expenditure, ensuring that the department remains accountable, responsive, and aligned with municipal priorities. Beyond enforcement, we also place a strong emphasis on stakeholder collaboration, community trust, and continuous improvement through structures, training, and internal security measures. And then the following section outlines the departmental performance metrics, notable achievements, ongoing interventions, and specialized functions such as fine administration, safety management at recreational events, and security and loss control. Together, these components paint a clear picture on how EMPD is strengthening public safety, enhancing service delivery, and maintaining operational integrity within its region. This is our finance matrix, Chairperson. The overview, that's the amount that was allocated to Community Safety Department. As the Chair will know, our new structure, we are no longer EMPD on our own, but we are a structure that is now operating under Community Safety, which includes other departments, as well as Disaster Management and EMPD. Also under the same components, licensing as well. So this is the staff complement of our members. The total is 3,110, of which the 383, it's the service, it's actually the support services, and the rest, it covers our traffic law enforcement, bylaws, and crime prevention. That's the allocation of our vehicles, Chairperson, at that time of Q1. We had a total of 1,353 in total, which 320 is allocated to support services and 1,033 in our bylaw crime prevention, okay, sorry, Chair. Bylaw crime prevention and traffic law enforcement. These are our non-functional vehicles at Q1, Chair, as they are reflected there. The total vehicles that were at workshop with outside service providers, it was 289. And then the number of vehicles at our internal workshop at that time, Q1, was 97. And the total vehicles at external service providers, 192. Chairperson, these are key performance indicators for 2025-2026. The number of functional partnership, this is informal settlement. We have 60 targets, that is an annual target. The quarterly, it's 20, of which in July, we managed to do 12 operations, in August 8, and in September 10. We are almost halfway to reach an annual target. We had 13. And then the number of criminals that were arrested, we have an annual target of 1,400, of which the quarterly target is 350. Then in July, we managed to arrest 916, and in August, 937, and in September, 877, which is a total of 2,730, which is actually, we have already reached and over the target, Chair. The number of EMPD crime prevention plans executed, it's supposed to be 80 annually, and then the target is 20. In July, we had 22, in August, 14, and in September, 19, which is 55. We almost there for annual. And taking into consideration that this is the first quarter, we still have 3 quarters to close our 2025-2026. And then the number of joint crime prevention operation executed, it's 80 annually. The quarterly is 20. We had 10 in July and 8 in August and 11 in September. We are now sitting at 29. The number of operations conducted at identified hotspots, it's 100 annual, and then the quarterly is 25. We had 16 in July, 10 in August, and 16 again in September, which is 42. The number of social crime prevention plans executed, we had 11 in July, 11 in August, and 11 in September, which is 33. The number of social crime prevention awareness campaigns conducted, we have 240 targets, of which 60, it's a quarterly target. In July, we executed 40, in August, 48, in September, 49, and the total is 137. The number of intervention implemented to reduce crime and related incidents, 420 annual targets, quarterly 105. In July, we had 61, and in August, we had 63, and in September, 54, which is 178. The number of violations recorded in respect of EMPD bylaws, The target is 3,000. This one, we are still progressing on this one. Our quarterly is 750, and yet we are sitting at 27. The number of bylaw operations conducted, 140, 35 quarterly targets, and we have executed 16, and 8 in August, 11 in September, then 35. The number of road death fatalities recorded, on this one, Chair, we should not exceed 136, but when we continue to slide to 26, I will actually talk more of the road fatalities that has actually happened at that quarter. The number of fines issued for traffic violations, we also have a dedicated slide on that one. I can pass on this one, Chair. It was just explaining the previous slide that it has to do with the crime reduction rates, traffic law enforcement, community engagement, which is done by our social crime prevention units in all regions, training and so forth. Next slide, please. And then the performance in terms of our metrics, we improved by law compliance operations. We had a total of 35 SDPIPs operations that were conducted. And then the number of operations at identified hotspots, we have conducted 60. That is in terms of we have executed 42, and a number of 60 planned hotspot operation that was conducted. We continue on this one, conduct crime prevention. We had 55 operations, our SDPIP, and then the number of joint crime prevention, we had 29. Performance metrics, Chair, in July, we had 26, and in August, those are pedestrians, we had 12, and then in September, we had 18 operations, which is 56. Discontinue notices that were issued, we had 234, Chair, in July, and then in August, 259, and in September, 246, which is 739. And the registration plate fines that were issued, it's 12 in July, and then 823 in August, and 12 in September, which is a total of 847. The moving violations, which includes your channelizing lines and so forth, we had 30 in July, 2,152. In August and in September, we had 28, which is 2,210. The safety belts, Chair, 32 in July, 7,559 in August, and 28 in September, which is 2,210. The stop signs, Chair, 36 in July, 4,989 in August, and 21 in September. The cell phones, 20 in July, 515 in August, and 31 in September. And the speed violations, we had a total of 12,981. Chair, we should indicate that these are actually violations that contribute highly in accidents on a public road, as they are reflected there. And we had more in August because we were also conducting the women operations on top of the normal operations that we're conducting on a daily basis. The stakeholder engagement, the social crime interventions, we had 137 social crime awareness campaigns that were conducted throughout the city of Ekurhuleni. And then this is stakeholder engagement. Again, this is in relation to human settlements intervention. For the month of July, we had 19, which was violent, and 93 non-violent. And then in August, 10, and in September, 10 non-violent, and 97, which was, 10 violent and 97 non-violent. In September, 8 and violent, and then 88 non-violent. These ones, it's whereby the community will actually come, but then Some of them, they are violent, some of them, they are not violent, and some of them, we have to actually disperse them with the assistance, of course, of our South African Police Service, those who are trained in terms of crowd management. Because each and every time when you demolish the illegal structures, like we have just did in Plastic City, in Benoni, in Brockburn, which has caused interventions from other bodies, like your human rights. We're still getting those human rights people coming to actually to say what we did there was wrong, of which that area, you cannot put a human being in that area. There are holes all over. So we really don't understand what they are fighting for. Are they fighting for the life of the people, or they are just, I don't know actually what exactly do they want there. But the city succeeded in terms of removing those people who were there. They were saying we were actually evicting them. It was not an eviction. We were moving from people from a space that is not conducive for a human being to live at. So, yeah, the stakeholder engagement, Chair, we continue to have our station crime combating forum with the South African Police Service. We had 45 at that quarter, and then the district or cluster crime combating meetings, we had 48. This also includes the DCCF, as it is stated there, the CPF 48, and then the CPF, we had 16. In terms of achievements and interventions, Chairperson, the drunken driving we had in July arrested 102 suspects for drunken driving, and 142 in August, 140 in September, which is a total of 384. The reckless and negligent driving, we arrested 109 July, in August 141, in September 182, which is a total of 432. And the pedestrians on freeway also, who contribute a lot, Chair, on our accidents. We had 26 in July, and 18 in August, and 12 in September total. No, the numbers are not correct, Chair. But yeah, the truck-related, we had 74 in July, and then 83 in August, and 66 in September, which is 223. For other arrests, it was 102 in July, 132 in August, and 75 in September, which is a total of 309. The illegal mining, we had 7 in July and 6 in September, which is 13. On illegal mining, Chair, I must indicate we are not working in solos. We work with other role players, the other law enforcement agencies, in terms of apprehending those people. The illegal immigrants that the committee has also touched on, we have arrested 522 in July, and 367 in August, and 450 in September, which is a total of 1339. The red dockets, whereby a docket has been opened, but the suspect has never went to court or appear in court to be charged formally. We have arrested 28 in July, and 82 in September, in August, and 39 in September, which is a total of 149. The excessive speed, we have arrested 91 in July, 128 in August, and 168 in September, which is a total of 383. The recoveries, Chair, in terms of the stolen motor vehicles, we have recovered 29 in July, and 31 in August, and 44 in September, which is a total of 104. And in terms of firearm recoveries, 10 in July, 6 in August, and 7 in September, a total of 23. Safety at recreational events, those are our events, Chairperson. We had a committee in the city that actually manage and coordinates events in the city of Ekurhuleni. So in July, we had 8. In August, we had 5. In September, we had 8 again, which is a total of 21. And then these are just monies that we have generated with regards to event. In July, we had 186,110. In August, we had 78,205. And in September, we had 125,070. That's the total amount there for quarter one. This is the feedback of our Security and Loss Control Division, who are monitoring our structures in the city. So in July, they have arrested 8 suspects, and then in August, 6, and in September, 5, for different crimes, which includes tampering with essential infrastructure, attempted cable theft and cable theft, possession of suspected stolen property, and possession of stolen goods. The suspected property, sometimes it's the things that they were found in their possession, but they could not account for those items. In terms of fine administration, Chair, maybe Chairperson can remember that we currently have a situation as the city did not renew the contract with Sintel. So now we are relying on our ICT to assist us in terms of supporting our back office. So currently, as it is stipulated there, that since the implementation of the integrated law enforcement management system in January, there has been substantial progress to this point. But the issue of supporting our back office, it is still an issue that is an ongoing, but we are engaging our ICT in terms of ensuring that we are able, yes, we continue to take payments, conduct inquiries, and to make representation, create court rolls, and submit those registers in court. But yeah, we still have an issue there. Chairperson, in terms of ARTO, we were supposed to have started in December with regards to ARTO, but it was postponed nationally to 1 July 2026 due to the challenges that we are currently facing, because our systems needs to speak to ARTO now, not to Section 56 documents. So there is a training refresher course has been done, but we still need training, especially when it comes to the in terms of compiling the SLA. Our SLAs must talk to the ARTO now, not to the Section 56 or 341 that we are able to use. And registration of users, the equipment and training. We currently have done the fingerprints, and we are awaiting feedback, because those who will be capturing these fines, Chair, they also need to be, for the lack of a better word, vetted in terms of dealing with the system. With our vehicle pounds, Chair, we have pounded 452 vehicles in July, and then released 349, and those were the monies that were generated with actually those vehicles that were released. And in August, it was 481, and then we released 312. That's the amount that was generated in August. And in September, 435, and then released 406, and then that was the money that was generated for that quarter, Chair. And then we also impound, Chairperson, the trailers that you found in different corners or intersections advertising illegally in our city. So in July, we impounded 43 and 30 was released. In August, 34 and 24 was released. In September, 45 and 33 was released. And that's the amount that was accumulated, or that we managed to receive from those people who came forward to claim their trailers and so forth. In terms of accident, Chair, I did allude earlier on that we have categorized the accidents that has actually happened in the city, throughout the city of Ekurhuleni. It includes pedestrians, the driver, whereby there was an accident, the driver lost his life, or a passenger, or a motorcycle a motorcyclist or a cyclist, or sometimes it's unknown. Those ones, normally it's an MVA, or you just find somebody on spot, but nobody knows who's that person. So in July, we had 28 cases, and then in terms of pedestrians, we had 20 that were fatally wounded during that time, and the driver 3, and 3 in September, so that's the total number. That's just the picture, Chairperson, in terms of the fatalities that were recorded by the EMPD. And then the appointments and vehicle procurement, Chair, we have filled the 216 vacancies in the city. And yes, criminal clearance was conducted. We have procured 30 VW Polos, 10 Golf 8s, and 8 BMW motorcycles. Of course, the Golf and the motorcycles which were utilized, or G20. We also had, those vehicles were actually procured by 30 million that was allocated to the department, and then of which we almost finished that money. The remaining then was used for blue lights, and some of the vehicles, Chair, I must indicate, they are not yet branded due to funds, but the department is actually dealing with that one. And this was actually concluded in August 2025. This is the integrity, the picture in terms of integrity, internal cases that are reported, Chair, in the city, the conduct of officers. We had 49 cases, which includes the claims of unlawful arrest, which has been touched, and then all corruption and so forth, which is a total of 49, Chairperson. Out of that 49, Chairperson, we had the number of complaints that we received, which was 49, and the number of complaints closed due to lack of evidence, 7, and the number of disciplinary cases finalized, 2, disciplinary cases pending, it's 8, number of cases investigated and referred for disciplinary hearings, 10, number of members on suspension, we had 5 at that quarter, civil claims 10, and members dismissed 1 for their conduct. These are just the key challenges, Chairperson, of which we still have limited personnel and the budget, obviously, and inadequate infrastructure. Our precinct chair, I believe when the oversight committee come, they can actually also attest to that. Some of our buildings are not in good condition, but the city is looking into that. And then we also need assistance on this one. The trust issues, whereby the communities, Chair, they no longer have this trust in law enforcement. We are also one of those departments, Chairperson, that request maybe your assistance in terms of selling back law enforcement to the communities. So we can really appreciate any strategies that can be put in place in terms of selling the law enforcement back to the communities. And yes, intelligence and corruption, obviously, which is the department is dealing with it, as we have dismissed some of our members, Chairperson. Those are just corrective measures to accelerate procurement and repairs of processes. Sometimes our vehicles, they take forever when they are booked in for service, and which is a challenge in terms of our operations, because we cannot be operational enough or being visible if our vehicles are stuck at our workshops. Fast-tracking recruitment and deployment of officers, yes, and expand community awareness and education programs. Our social crime, yes, they are assisting us, and they also work with other law enforcement agencies, including correctional services, Chairperson. And then strengthen coordination with other departments and the South African Police. Yes, on this one, Chair, we are really improving. And with the assistance of the cooperative agreement that was signed by the metros and the South African Police Service Ministry. So, and also through IGR. So the challenges are not so much, because we have platforms whereby if we need assistance, we can approach IGR and other law enforcement agencies. So the implementation of flexible patrols schedules, yes, that one we are definitely working on it. And also, Chairperson, the recommendations. Of course, yes, we request additional budget. We always struggling when it comes to budget. Our money gets finished before the financial year can actually finish. Introduce digital performance tracking tool, and then increase focus on employer wellness and training. We can confirm, Chairperson, on this one that it is an ongoing process. We had an employee wellness unit within the HR, which actually take care of our members, including their families. If maybe they can find that the root actually is coming from the family, they will also assist our members, our families, and then to get assistance and counseling and so forth. And then continue joint operations with other law enforcement agencies, of which it is an ongoing process. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you for the presentation, and also to always be available for this accountability session. We truly appreciate that. I think we also pass our good wishes and well wishes to the MMC to get well soon, because she also one of those that normally takes her time off to be part of these engagements. Can we go to the next presentation? We're going to take all three, and then we'll have one engagement in terms of comments and questions. I think the next one is Sarah.
Honorable members of the committee, the senior officials from different various entities. I'm going to present the overview of the Q2 report of SIRA. The presentation, Chairperson, will look at the overview of SIRA mandate, the strategic plan overview, the industry size, the key performance highlights, and also the performance program and law enforcement highlights. Chair, in terms of the legislative mandate, SIRA, which is the Private Security Industry Regulatory Authority, it's mandated, to promote and legitimate industry subject to the Constitution and other law of the country. And we also ensure that, the industry or whoever is participating in this industry is acting in the public and national interest. And we also determine and enforce minimum occupational conduct by service providers. And we always make sure that our registration processes are transparent and fair and objective. And in terms of the primary statutory regulatory functions, Chair, maybe just to share the main roles of the entity is to ensure that we register everyone who's participating in this industry. We make sure that we screen all the persons who want to participate in this industry. It's our role, Chair, to determine and to oversee quality assurance of the training standards. And one of the modalities for us to be able to achieve our mandate, we conduct regular inspections, and for those who are not complying or with the regulations and with our act, they are prosecuted. We are also mandated, Chair, to make sure that we develop the regulation or advise the minister in terms of the development of the regulations. I just want to show, we have just finalized and implemented our 5-year strategy, especially when it comes to law enforcement. The strategic outcome that we are still going to contribute to throughout the 5-year strategy period is the second one, which is a compliant, collaborative, and accountable and transformed private security industry. And we want to see at the end of the day, Chair, that the impact statement that we have put ourselves is to ensure that we have safer homes, business and communities in the interest of all South Africans. I thought it's prudent as well, Chair, just to share the industry size of the security in the country. You'll see that I've shared in terms of the security officers that we are sitting at, in our database, we are sitting at around 3 million security officers who have registered on our database. But you'll see that we have those who are declared by the organization or by the security companies is sitting at 689,000. You will also, I think, have an interest to see that Gauteng is leading in terms of number of securities who have registered and those number of securities who have also been declared by the security companies. I wanted also just to share with you the statistics when it comes to the number of businesses. You'll see as well that Gauteng is leading in terms of the number of companies that are operating in the security industry. I should believe that it doesn't become as a shock considering that this is the province that is hub of economy. We have been seeing the growth, very rapid growth in terms of the security activities in this province. And I think that's the call for a very structured and collaborative efforts by all the law enforcement agents. To be able to deal with security issues in the province. In terms of the key highlights, as I said, I'm just going to show the key highlights. In terms of our APP targets for 2025-2026, in Q4, we have achieved 88% of our APP target. I think I need also to indicate that we have conducted in that quarter 2,276 security business inspection. And I think I must also make this disclaimer maybe before I take you through the stats. These are national-based stats. Yes, going forward, Chairperson will also provide the breakdown in terms of the provinces. But I think it's safe to say that when we look at our stats, in most of the activities that we are performing, almost 35% are representing Gauteng province, taking into consideration the number of security businesses and the number of security officers that are in Gauteng. We have also conducted 13,516 security officer inspections in Q2, and we have facilitated the arrest of 273 out of 61 operations that we have conducted in Q2. We do this, conduct these operations in collaborations with other law enforcement agencies like your SAPS and others. We also dedicate our efforts to inspect those businesses that are also using firearms, in which during that quarter, we have inspected 697. And I must say that we have finalized successfully 263 prosecutions in Q2. I must also say that just above 7 million fines were imposed against those security service providers, and the prosecution turnaround time in which we try to drive, just to make sure that issues are being dealt with in Q2 was 31 days. We have also 58,722 security officers were registered in that particular quarter. And we have also registered 409 business in the same quarter. We have accredited, as is one of our mandates, accredited 129 new training centers in the country. And we have received 237,597 training course reports which were captured in Q2. We have also renewed 11,300, and I think that's a typo there. It must read 11,384 were successful renewed. That's it's in relation to security officers. And we have successfully renewed businesses equals to 2,157. We also focusing much on advocacy in terms of what is it expected from the clients, what is it expected from our stakeholders. We have done 15 stakeholders awareness workshop, and we have also done 20 additional marketing campaigns in Q2. In terms of the SIRA performance per program, we have 3 programs that we have put together for our reporting purposes. We have got program number 1, in which we have targeted 9 output indicators, and we have achieved 7. And law enforcement, which is, I think, that's where you have a lot of interest. We have achieved 7 out of 7, and communication and training is 6 out of 7, and registration is 3 out of 3. Focusing on law enforcement, Chair, in terms of investigation for Q2, I've already done with the left side of the slide, which is the compliance inspections. In terms of the enforcement investigation, Chair, the total of the investigation are 1,245, and the security business investigations that were conducted were 777, and security officer investigation was sitting at 468. And in terms of criminal investigation and cases, investigated, same as 1,245. Here I wanted to show those that are finalized and also cases that are opened. In terms of the code of conduct dockets and prosecution, Chair, for Q2, we had 400 total improper conduct dockets, and from that 400 we have 108 for small businesses and 54 for medium businesses, and also 238 for large businesses. In terms of improper conduct prosecutions, is 209, and the 209 is the regulation notices issued, and the cases finalized is 32, and cases finalized through the settlement is 225. Last slide, Chair. In terms of the regulatory subcommittee, where we also present the withdrawals and suspensions for those who are not complying with the Act. In terms of the security business, we have withdrawn 346 because of a failure to pay annual fees. We have those who voluntarily withdraw, which are sitting as 14, and the withdrawals at code of conduct inquiries is 1, and those that we have uplifted, the suspension is 22, and the withdrawal because of the infrastructure and capacity is sitting at 1, and the registration suspended is 262. In terms of the security officer, it's only one. It's the withdrawal at code of conduct inquiries, which is 1, and the registration that was suspended is 1 during the quarter under review. As I said, I will give the overview. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Thanks.
Can we have IPIT?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much. Honorable members of the legislature, and colleagues from the metros, senior government officials, all protocol observed, I greet you. This is the IP Gauteng presentation done by Mr. Ndlovu, together with my colleague Nate Bandoi. But he'll be taking the question afterwards. So, our presentation is as follows. We'll be having the IP mission, the background, the type of matters that are investigated by IPID, the intake for this financial year, the arrests, and the number of court roll matters. We also included the convictions and acquittals, Chair. The aim of IPID is to ensure independent oversight over the South African Police Service and Municipal Police Service, to conduct independent and impartial and quality investigation of identified criminal offences allegedly committed by members of SAPS and MPS, and to take appropriate recommendations in line with the IPID Act. The vision of IPID is to promote quality policing in accordance with the principles of the Constitution while maintaining human dignity. Our values, the IPID aims to adhere to the highest standards of ethical behavior, integrity, and continuous application of our values. Types of matters that are investigated by the Directorate are as follows. In terms of Section 28(1)(a), in terms of Section 28(1) of the IPID Act, they are as follows. A, any death in police custody. B, death as a result of police action. C, any complaint relating to the discharge of an official firearm by any police officer. D, rape by a police officer, whether on or off duty. E, rape of any person while in custody. F, any complaint of torture or assault against the police officer in the execution of his or her duties. G, corruption matters. H, any other matter referred to the Directorate as a result of a decision by the executive director, or if so required by the minister or MEC or the secretary, as the case may be. Okay, the overall provincial performance picture is as follows. On the intake, we have received a total number of 475 cases in this financial year, and we break them down as follows. 20 cases of death in police custody, death as a result of police action. It's 56 death as a result of police action. Out of the 56 cases, we've got 3 that are GBV related. The rest is where police are in pursuit of the alleged criminals. Then a shootout ensues. Then someone dies. Rape by police officer, we have 11. Discharge of official firearm, we have 74. Rape of a person while in custody, we have 0. Torture matters, we have 4. And on assault, we have 250. That's where bulk of our cases come from. Corruption matters, we have registered 30. And any other matters that are referred to us, we have registered 30 cases. That gives us a total of 475. Completed cases on this financial year. Chair, we have, I must mention that we have backlog cases, which we did not give a number of them here. And some of the work that we have done comes from those backlog cases. That's why you see the number at the bottom, 475 versus what we received. Doesn't tell you. It's because of the work that was completed this financial year, but it comes from the backlog. Under 28(1)(a), we have completed 24 cases. Under B, death as a result of police action, we completed 33 cases. Under discharge of an official firearm, we completed 90. And rape by police officers, we completed 16 cases. We've got 0 on rape of a person while in custody. And under torture matters, we've completed 5. And assault, we have completed 519. And under corruption matters, we have completed 29 cases. And any other matters, we've completed 27. And failure to comply with IP Act, we've completed 2 cases. Total number of closed cases, we have closed 594 cases. These cases are cases where investigation was finalized and we have closed them and the dockets are sent back to SAPS. Cases that were referred to the NPA after completion of investigation, we have referred a total of number of 232, which are broken down as follows: 128 1A case, 8 death as a result of police action, 18 discharge of official firearm, 10 rape matters, 178 assault cases, 13 corruption matters, and 4 under 28 1H. Feedback that we have received from the referrals to the NPA, we are still waiting for 206. We've only received 26, of which 23 they have declined to prosecute, and on the other 3 they have decided that prosecution steps must be taken. Recommendations sent to SAPS. Upon finalization of investigation, we normally send recommendations to SAPS for them to take necessary departmental steps against whosoever is involved or implicated. Under 28 1A, we have sent 1. Under death as a result of police action, we have sent 10. Under 28 1C, which is a discharge of an official firearm, we have sent 20. And under rape cases, we have sent 16. And under torture, we didn't send anything there. Under assault, we have sent 169. And on corruption matters, we have sent 15. And under 28 1H, any other matters, we have sent 12. And failure to comply, we have sent only 1. That gives us a total number of 244. Those that were sent to the MPS that includes Ekurhuleni, Tshwane, and JMPD. We have sent a total number of 37. Under section 28 1A, we've got 0 there, and under 28 1B, which is death as a result of police action, we've got 4. Under the discharge of official firearm, we've got 2. Under rape, we've got 1. And assault matters, we've got 28, and corruption, we've got 2. That gives us a total number of 37. Number of arrests. We have effected arrest on a total number of 40 members. And they are as follows. On 28 1B, we've arrested 7 members. On discharge of official firearm, it's 3. Rape by police officer, we have arrested 6. And assault, we have arrested 8. And corruption matters, we have arrested 3. And on any other matters, it's 13. Age, that is an age. If I can just elaborate further on this age matter, some of the cases that we take, it's where a police officer is involved in a domestic violence related matters. Then the police normally do the initial investigation. Then we take the case, we assess it. Then if necessary, then we take over. Number of criminal convictions. On criminal convictions, Chair, we've got, so far, say we've got 7 cases that were finalized. Under 28 1B, if you see on top there, there's 2 matters. One, the member was given a life imprisonment, and on the second matter, he was given 5 years, wholly suspended. 6 years, because he pleaded on culp. Under section 28 1C, he was given 5 years, wholly suspended for 5 years. And on section 28(1)D, the member was given 8 years imprisonment. And on F, torture, the member was given 5 years, wholly suspended for 5 years. And there's an age matter. We've got two, but on one, it's actually a murder case wherein a police officer killed his partner by throwing acid on him. He was taken to hospital and he later succumbed to death. And in that case, because there was no firearm that was used or was registered under 28(1)A, in that case, that particular member was given 15 years for the murder and 3 years for defeating the ends of justice. And in the other each matter, the member was the charges were withdrawn against the member due to the fact that the complainant did not want to continue. Departmental convictions. On departmental convictions, so far, we've got 20 members that were disciplined and successfully sanctioned. And Chair, I must say, I didn't get a breakdown of this as I did on the criminal matters. And matters on the court roll, currently as things stands, we've got 215 matters on the court roll. And they are as follows. On 28(1)A, which is death in police custody, we've got 1 matter on a court roll. Death as a result of police action, we've got 40 cases. Under 28(1)C, we've got 32. Under rape matters, we've got 21. On torture cases, we've got 4. And assault cases, we've got 72. On corruption, we've got 18 cases on a court roll. And any other matters, we've got 3. And failure to comply, we've got 4. That gives us a total number of 215. And that will be the end of our presentation. Thank you very much.
We're not going to give them a lot of time because they arrived late, but they can come through just to also appreciate the effort that they took. I'm sure it was not only out of disrespect, they were held up by several important matters in the capital city of our country. And they are always one of the metropolis departments that normally comply and cooperate with the committee in many instances. And we truly appreciate their cooperation as a committee. They can come through to present. Anyway, as long that we'll be having the, the mic must be on though.
Yes, with Uncle Tommy and the ministers. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Obviously, you said it, that we were delayed and due to other commitments, but then we said it is very important that we come and present as well. And then irrespective of the time, but then we ask for forgiveness for that as well. And then we know that you are an understanding chairperson. Colleagues, without wasting time, let me congratulate all of us for being the good host during the G20. All of us, we played the role. And then, Chairperson, I want to challenge you and say, this is an indication that we are ready for Parliament to come in Gauteng. In fact, and then we're looking forward to that. Without wasting time, let me talk to the Tshwane Metropolis Department performance on the first quarter. We still are a department that is committed in terms of ensuring that Gauteng is one of the safest cities in the world. As we know that we are still one of the third largest cities that you can get in the world, and with a number of population bigger than other countries as well. I was talking to a colleague this morning to say, shocked that out of 13 million registered vehicles, I think 6 million are only out there. So you can imagine that that's the responsibility that we carry, and also the population as well. I always love to talk about the population in Ghana, to say all of them, the president, there are 2.4 million, but then you can imagine Gauteng has almost more than 11 million residents. So the responsibility that we carry as a team is far much bigger. On the presentation index, did you receive it? They are still sorting it. I'll quickly talk to it, then they'll catch up with us. We are going to touch base quickly on the strategic objectives, which I might skip a little bit, and then staff compliments, very important, the budget breakdown, chairperson, the vehicle allocation, operational performance, integrity management, and the highlights of our successes as well. Our strategic objective, chairperson, continues to be aligned to delivering community-based policing that is intelligent, evidence-driven, and also driven by the data that we collect. As you know that before we distribute the resources, we need to collect data and ensure that we distribute the resources that we have in terms of what is happening in our society. But also our strategic objective, chairperson, talks to the streamlining of our organizational processes by developing and implementing a technologically based integrated police management system. All of us, we know that we are now moving to AI, artificial intelligence, assisting us a lot in terms of fighting crime. The deployment of the drones, the morpho-touch technique machines that we use so that we are able to identify the wanted suspect. But equally so, our strategic objective talks to innovative, multifunctional, and holistic solutions to safety and security challenges across the city. That includes the talking with the business people to say they must come on board and assist us in terms of the CCTV deployment as well around the city. But we also build an organizational environment that promotes service delivery and institutional growth. That one talks to itself. Then fostering sustainable community and inter-organizational relationship. As you know, Chairperson, that South Africa are signatory members of the sustainability programs that talks to ensuring that anything that we do talks to the social fiber of our community and also economy of our community. But also anything that we do as enforcement committee, as a committee, must also be able to attract the investors, as we all know. But the last one on the strategic objective, it is that one that talks to ensuring good governance through improved accountability, responsiveness, and integrity. Chairperson, we are now on King 4. As you know, Mervyn King, one of the champions, talks about good governance, and all of us here, I can surely tell you that you are champions of a good governance. Our presence here talks to good governance, shows that we need to account to anything that we do as a committee and as enforcement as well. Let me go straight to staff complement. We are still 5,138. It's a little amount of enforcement officers. New York has 20,000 Metro Police officers, New York City only. So you can imagine, if I say 5,138, we still have a long way to go. Support services, 206. Asset protection officers, we've got 1,311. Those are the people that are responsible to guard our assets. Water treatment and then electricity treatment and other buildings as well that are of importance.
But equally so, we also have 3,600 officers responsible to do crime prevention, bylaw policing, and road policing, Chairperson. Chairperson, our budget breakdowns, money is not a problem with us. It is a challenge, not a problem. Yeah, so we are given 3.8 million to run the enforcement with that money, and then on that money we dedicated operationally 4 billion rands and capital expenditure 3 million rands. Now sometimes we have budget adjustment, and then we are able to, each time we have budget adjustment, prioritize enforcement and ensuring that it is dedicated in ensuring that the city is safer as well. On Q1, already on that 3 billion rands, we committed 1.2 already. We spent 1.2 already, Chairperson. Then this is how we spend the 1.2. Crime prevention, we spend 365 million. Bylaw policing, we spend 14 million rands. And road policing, we spend 404 million rands. Now, as I've indicated, we have a team that is responsible to guard our assets. The budget allocated to that team is 417 million rands per person. The number of vehicles that we have, 758 vehicles, Chairperson. Then a number of those that are functional on those vehicles, there are 527. And due to services and accidents, it's 231 vehicles that are in services and so forth. Chairperson, let me go straight to the performance now. The number of regional road policing operations that we had, we are always outperforming. We have a target of 94, but then we managed to do 108. Number of specialized road policing operations, 113. Number of regional bylaw operations interventions, 77. It was our target, but then we moved to 103 targets. Almost we doubled our target. The number of specialized bylaw policing operations is 53 that we have. The number of regional illegal dumping operations executed, it is 54. Chairperson, if you can remember very well, there was a clarion call that talked about illegal dumping in the cities. So we listened to that clarion call, and then we've got operations, currently 54 operations that were successful on the illegal dumping, taping down and arresting those who dump around the city. Chairperson, number of regional crime prevention operations, we again outperformed the 197. Number of specialized crime prevention operations, 226. Number of illegal cable theft operations that we have, Chairperson, is 34. Number of Metropolis educational awareness interventions executed focus on the empowerment of vulnerable groups, the elderly and the young ones, have 172 operations. Response to land invasion incidents within 48 hours. This one has been a pain to the Premier, and then Chairperson, we listened very carefully, and then we are now responding 100% to any attempt of land invasion in our city. We got 160 reported incidents, and then I'm happy to say today, as we stand, structures that we destroyed and demolished are 1,500 due to land invasion. So anytime any person attempts to do land invasion, we pounce on them immediately. Integrity management, Chairperson, we also have, as IPID has indicated, I can't say much more on that. We've got challenges also with members that are, that come with certain behaviors that is not needed by us. We've got complaints referred to for further steps due to those members. We've got 2 complaints, then withdrawn complaints. We've got 1 unsubstantiated cases, unconfirmed cases. We've got 5. Still under investigation, we've got 30. But then members on suspension, Chairperson, it's 19 due to misbehaving. Members dismissed, we dismissed 2. Then members are resigned pending disciplinary proceedings are 1. There's 1 member that resigned. See that he was not going to win that one, so he resigned, perhaps ran away. Road policing operations, Chairperson, as I am about to conclude, 1 more slide, 2 more slides. License discs are not displayed on the vehicles. We've got people that were charged due to license this that were not displayed, operating without number plate, 3,000 people, and roadworthy public transport, 91, and roadworthy vehicles, 461, operating a vehicle without a license, 9,322. That one is a clarion call to us. We ensure that we very hard that to those people who are operating without licenses. Not roadworthy vehicles, 1,165. Now here's our favorite customers. We have 504 arrests on drinking and driving. Those that we come across drinking and driving, 504 were put behind the bars. And 4 stolen vehicles recovered during impounding processes. And we continue to perform and outperform on the IBEC operations in Gauteng. Move from province to province, then from city to city. I would love us to province, from province to province. But then, yeah, since we are the champions, we move from city to city. And then on the IBEC operations, we check illegal immigrants, arrest for building demolished that we have. It's 6 buildings that we demolished, and then we also arrest people for illegal spaza shops, and we also close them. 43 businesses were closed, Chairperson, 44 electricity disconnections on illegal consumptions of electricity. We also recovered 104 refuse bins that belongs to the city, 104 Home Affairs documents confiscated, and 320 people were searched, and then 2,500 items confiscated. On the IBEC, as a reminder, we check the Business Act, we check the street trading, solid waste, municipal health, fire safety, liquor outlets, electricity, public amenities as well. Those are the concentrations that we normally focus on. Then we also have, we are a very good enforcement department. We sometimes offer people to rectify. We've got OTRs 52, we come to your business and say, next time this bottle must be here, not this side. So we do offer sometimes opportunity to rectify whenever they short documentations. Fire safety, 78, health, 225, building contraventions, 30, gave them ample time to go and rectify. Chairperson, the rest of the slides, it's our successes. We've got new brigadiers that we have appointed, and then 6 more brigadiers, the team of TMPD that we have appointed. Then we also have other successful operations, like we opened all our way bridges. Our way bridges, Chairperson, spent 10 years almost without having a way bridge in Victoria. So what we did, we resuscitated them. As you know, that it is very important for us to take care of the infrastructures of the city. Colleagues and Chairperson, thank you so much for your patience, and then that's how much I could run.
Thank you. I think you did well in terms of running. Can I then give opportunity to members of the committee to ask, make comments to all the presentations that we have received? I will also just have to indicate to the members that the aim is to finish by 2 o'clock, so maybe we must try to keep our comments and our questions brief as possible. There are a number of alarming and red flags that I've seen, but I will make my comments after members have done that. Over to you, Member San. Are you covered? No. I'm chairing. You start that side.
Thanks, Chair. Chair, my first question goes to our colleague from PCIRA. And I think this is an repeated issue that we have raised. Chair, I don't want to be giving them another name, but I assume that they form part of your organization. You see, other than your traditional security guards, there are many private security guards that offers the service. Now, you often see in the mornings and in the afternoons and any time during the day that these highly spec'd luxury vehicles escorting another vehicle, they look like just like the Presidential Protection Service. fitted with red lights, white lights, all the lights that you can think of. And they push traffic, they push motorists, and they become very aggressive on the road. Now, my question to you, sir, is that has PCERA conducted an audit into those kind of service providers to see what exactly is their business? Because it does not seem that they provide security service to the general public, but for a identified or a targeted customer. I will even go to the extent and raise the issue that I know business people, very wealthy ones, they will go register a security company. They will have their own security company providing security service, and that becomes a different, security services we are used to. So my question is that, have you conducted an audit? And if you found any of those members that conduct those kind of service, what is your approach to them? Because they are not really the security service that we are used to. Then I move to the Metro Police Department. Thank you, colleagues. Let me just reverse and say thank you very much for the presentation. We often forget to thank you that you bring us information, and we need those information to carry on with our work. We see the good work being done by the metros. The first thing is that, Ikululeni, I saw your presentation. I see about 20% of your vehicles are out of service. I also see that in the same presentation mentioned that you have a lot of challenges and difficulties of getting maybe approvals or those vehicles repaired. You're not alone. In fact, that goes across many metropolitans. Now, but what is your proposal there? How can we as the province assist? I would like to believe that many of the service providers are the same. What can we do to ensure and improve that process and streamline the repairs and the maintenance of your vehicles at the Metro Police Service? Then the next question is that it's unfortunate that JMPD is not chair. I don't know where they are. Maybe they will give us their presentation later, but particularly in Joburg, acting MMC, I don't know if they write also to Tshwane. Motorbikes in Johannesburg don't like to have number plates for very good reasons, because they don't want to get caught. And it's very difficult to catch an offender on a motorbike. They'll quickly just dash off. But then again, our Metro Police and our traffic police are not clamping down on these offenders. They think that it's not necessary to have a license plate on motorbikes. And again, they contravene, they offend, but then there's nothing done. They continue to be on the roads without number plates. A very painful issue. Again, it's a repeated issue. It's the reckless driving of taxis. It's becoming so blatant within our metros that we really request the Metro Police to emphasize on these operations. Not to say that we want to target a specific group, but we really need to target and clamp down on reckless driving. I go back to my same question. You heard me earlier on when I proposed my comments, that the revenue-driven operation, do you also have these, and how regular do you have them? Are they doing anything in terms of your safety and crime prevention operations, particularly looking at the road safety? For me, you ask me this today and ask me tomorrow, I'll give you the same answer, that for a police officer, be it Metro Police, Gauteng Traffic, to stop a car, a motorist, and say, can I take your license to go check at the truck for outstanding fines? And they come back and say, oh, you got a list or you got no traffic fines. That does very little for safety for me. I don't know, how does it prevent a crime from happening? And again, Honorable Mulder will tell you that lastly, Honorable Mulder will tell you that just down the road, they will see a broken traffic light, but they won't attend to it, but they will focus on that revenue collection. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. I'll be short. Questions that I wanted to ask were largely covered by Honourable Son. I just also want to ask where the Joburg Metro and Tshwane presentations are, and even presentations from the district municipality areas. And then I wish to thank the Ekurhuleni Metro and the other presenters for their presentations. It was quite informative. Thank you, Chair. Chair, I saved you 5 minutes.
Yeah, when you were not here, we agreed that we are going to. Yeah, thank you. Thanks. Okay. The last one.
Thank you, Chair. Also, thank you for those presentations. Indeed, you are acting out your mandate that is a gap filler when it comes to law enforcement and crime prevention overall. To Ekurhuleni, I'm glad you didn't mention that word Banazi, and they have mentioned it. So, but that's just on a lighter note. Moving violations, I saw you have in July 30, and then you have 2,152 in August and in September, and the same thing goes for stop signs and safety belts. You did say something about conducting women's operations above usual ones. So I'm not sure if these are women being fined or is it women that are issuing those fines. If you can just clarify that one for me. You did explain what red dockets are. I think I'll leave the issue with regard to how do we restore trust in law enforcement. I'll leave that over to the capable chairperson over here. To Pasira, your 273 arrests would be for those registered officers, security officers who has transgressed the law, I'd assume. Okay. Now, Member Sun spoke about the issue with regard to those personal protection security officers, which is a specialized one. But I'm going to speak to you and ask you about the issue with regard to bouncers at nightclubs. Most of them are foreigners. Surely that is a security business that is being hired. What are you doing with regard to that? And when it comes to Tshwane, you really are a good salesperson. I will inform the mayor about it. But let me commend you guys on your bylaw enforcement. Your focus on bylaw enforcement and taking back the city. It is ripple effects. Perhaps our other metros should also look at that. The hijacked buildings, your informal traders, illegal connections and so on. You are definitely making an impact. Keep it up. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. For the brief comments, I'll just make, I think it's a comment that I've made before. Maybe it's something that in the next engagement, you'd have to inform us about how you calculate your targets. Because for both the metros that have presented, it seems that your calculation on setting of your targets is quite low. That's the reason that at first quarter, of your financial year, you have already accomplished or attained those targets. So maybe for the future, you might have to educate us, both yourselves, on how you set the targets, because it might seem, for me, where I'm sitting is like, it's very low targets. The second comment is on IPID. The issue that worries me is the rape by police officers. That's worrying. That's worrying. As a committee, we are doing an FIS study, which we are concluding. But now when this matter of police officers getting involved in rape, so I'm not sure if they do it in the police station or where do they find their victims. But it's a worrying factor. Maybe you might have to just make one comment or two on it. And lastly, on SIRA, we had a very big debate recently. I think we have seen it around the issues of peace officers, amapanyaza, as it were. And seemingly the citizens generally, they are not very much uncomfortable with security officers. I think Member Sun and Member Mood have raised the issue. of the role of security officers, how they function in the community, in the highways, how they conduct themselves and so on. And now the issue would be, in terms of the act, are they having authority, all the security officers that are trained, are they having status of peace officers, and what constitute their training as such, so that we also know, maybe from our point of view, just to help us to understand. The other questions, I think we will follow them up in writing, particularly in terms of the impact, that the security, private security is making in fighting crime. It might need a longer presentation in terms of your assessment as CIRA, so that we also understand why do we really, because private security just also means that our police, our metros are not doing enough. But we are not dismissing them in a manner that says we appreciate that they are a false multiplier, they add on the numbers, and in many respects they help in many of the operations, and they've got more technology in other instances more than us as government or as the state, as it were. Those are my two, so we'll start as the presentations were made. Start with Ekurhuleni, make your comments, and then we'll come CIRA, and then IPID, and lastly Tshwane. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair and honorable members. The first was about what can the province actually do to assist us in terms of fast-tracking our vehicles that are at service providers. And maybe if the province can identify a workshop for us whereby we can take our vehicles for repairs or service, whatever the problem might be at that particular time, I think we can appreciate. And moreover, if they can procure some vehicles for us, we will definitely appreciate. And we never get such comments, especially from the committee. So now if the committee is coming forward to assist us, definitely if workshops can be identified for us so that we can take our vehicles, so that we don't have this backlog that we are currently having, and obviously procure new vehicles and donate them to the city, we will definitely appreciate. Okay, in terms of the revenue driven, currently, honorable members, we are not conducting such, as I alluded in the presentation, that there was a service provider that was assisting us in terms of such operations, Sintel, which is, the contract was not then renewed. So currently we are finding our ways as a department. I know, Honorable San, you did mention that it does not prevent crime, but the fact is the city procures Section 56s to be issued to the members of the public. So not that we are trying to make revenues as private businesses, but we use money to buy those Section 56. And when the communities out there are owing the city, we have to make means of ensuring that we get those monies back to the department. Yes, they are not crime prevention or by-law driven operations, but it's just that when you do your audits, we can account also to say, we bought so much Section 56s or 341 or notices, and we have managed to retain so much money with regards to those section or notices that have been procured. With regards to or the calculations, the chairperson said we can come back maybe and at a later stage as to, I know we are the metro that is in terms of numbers, Shire, Johannesburg and the city of Tshwane, and I believe obviously our targets can never be the same. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chairperson, and members. With regards to Honorable San's question regarding the use of lights, security companies are not allowed to use your strobe lights or the blue lights. It's only meant for law enforcement agencies. So during this financial year, we've made it our priority to add that as part of the focus areas where we had to zoom into those security companies that are using lights, because we have seen that most of the people that are using blue lights will be either transporting illicit goods, or someone has been kidnapped, or maybe it's drugs. It's a whole lot of things you can see with what is happening in the commissions now. So that is one of our main priorities. We're looking into it. That it's just that for like now, I don't have the numbers, but starting from this financial year, we made it our priority to look into the use of lights by security companies. So regarding Honorable Moody's question regarding the bouncers, we do have operations in the nightclubs where we target the bouncers, because most often than not, you find that it's foreign nationals that are not even documented, that are rendering the service to these entertainment areas. So we do conduct operations, and with the assistance of our tactical team, we have the team that is tactical team, not your normal inspector that will go to your office and ask you for the records. We have a tactical team within SIRA where if we want to conduct operations at night, they are able to assist us during those operations. Regarding the comment from the chairperson regarding the security officers being peace officers, yes, chairperson, security officers do not have a peace officer status. They are just a force multiplier. That is the status that is given to the force. I think I've answered the question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The question, the last question from the Honorable Muti regarding the 273 arrests, that will be the combination of both those who are unregistered and registered. It will depend on the type of offense, because some you find that they are not registered, they need to be arrested as well.
But if I am operating as a security officer, I'm not certified, you can place me under arrest. Is that it? Okay.
I Pete.
Thank you, Chairperson. Honorable members, colleagues. Indeed, Chairperson, your concerns are noted. Indeed, they are worried. These kind of crimes, normally they take place in private spaces. Most of the time, these officers are off duty and there is alcohol involved. But there are those which happens in police custody. Some are happening at their workplaces. For instance, in training colleges where instructors, they rape the students. And indeed, it's a sketch, Chairperson. But as IPIT, we prioritize this kind of cases. We ensure that they are given the most priority, and the perpetrators, we go all out to ensure that even bail we oppose, they don't get bail. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you. I would want us to conclude the meeting by saying, particularly this section of the meeting, by indicating our appreciation for all the colleagues who have made time out of their busy schedule to come and present themselves in front of the committee. it's not an effort that we take lightly. We are truly appreciative of it, all of yourselves. But it's an important conversations that we need to continue to have in an effort of creating a safer, actually Gauteng, and truly appreciative of all the efforts and the work that you are doing with all the limitations and challenges that you are actually facing. But we are truly appreciative on behalf of the committee. I would like to express those words. And we are going to invite you for something to eat and have, because we have kept you here hostage for the better part of the morning and the third of the afternoon, which is almost gone. We are closer to an evening now. So would like to invite you for something to eat, but also appreciate members of the committee to make time, drive safely. Apparently the weekend won't be having a very good weather, so we must drive safely and don't be a favorite customer of City of Tshwane. They say they've got an appetite of those who indulge in the unholy waters. But thank you so much for all of you who are here, the officials, staff members from the department, the HOD. Thank you so much for being here. As I've said, our conversation in this committee is to make sure that we have a safer Gauteng. And indeed, I think the G20 hosting demonstrate that if we do put effort and we coordinate our efforts and we integrate our efforts, you know, our province can be a safer province, and we need to do exactly that. Thank you so much. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.